over the age of 65. In this unsettling time,
Good morning. Here we go, guys.
If you've recently lost your job or been forced into retirement and want to learn about all of your Medicare health insurance options, call Debbie and her team
Here we go.
at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080 for a free review of your existing health insurance plan and to receive a free no-obligation education on all of your Medicare options. I Will Advisors are carrier neutral, which means they don't just represent one insurance carrier, they represent all major national carriers and will guide you through the confusing process to find the right plan for your particular.
Here we go, guys.
Free of charge. Call Debbie and her team right now. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-COCAINE-1. That's 1-888-COCAINE-1. Now, Steve.
All righty. Welcome, everyone. Yes. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Oh, man, so much going on. So much to talk about. Welcome. It is Tuesday, April 14th, 2020. Oh, man, did you guys catch that epic press conference yesterday? Oh, man. That coronavirus press conference was the best. It was the best. You know, the media think that they can say and do whatever it is they want to do, and you are not to question them. Well, Donald Trump held them accountable yesterday. We'll talk about that. But you know, I'd been telling you this since day one. Since day one, I'd been telling you that when Donald Trump gives the word to reopen America, the Democrats and the media were going to fight against it because they want to have an economic depression to get through the election so that they can get a guy who doesn't even know who the current president is elected president. And what is going on here with Cuomo and Newsom, it's like 1861 in the Democrat Party all over again. It really is. You have Democrats, governors, who are threatening to basically leave the Union, the Cuomo Confederacy and the Newsom Confederacy. They are attempting and threatening to establish two independent confederacies of states, one East Coast, one West Coast, and defy the federal government and the President of the United States, just like the Democrats did when Abraham Lincoln became our president. Oh man, this is what they do. It's amazing how all of a sudden the presidents have no power. And I was shocked. I did watch some of the commentary this morning, last night. I've been all over the Twitter. And I haven't heard anyone, other than me, I mentioned this yesterday, actually, and on my podcast last night, the Brian Craig Show podcast. This is exactly what the Democrats did when they left the Union in many ways. They are not recognizing the authority of the federal government over their state. They are declaring state sovereignty and are opposing the federal government. Oh my goodness. The Cuomo Confederacy and the Newsom Confederacy. I don't know if they're independent nation states. I don't know if they're independent confederations. I'm not exactly sure what they are thinking of doing with these two things, but it's going to be very difficult for them because what, President Trump said something in that press conference. We said many things that are right on the money. He's always right. But what President Trump said, one thing that is going to be so crystal clear. When he gives the word to open up America, which is going to happen even sooner now than it was before that press conference yesterday, I suspect. The Republican governors are going to open up their states, as they should. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. Wash your hands, wear your damn masks, do whatever else we got to do, and get America back to work. And what's going to happen are the Republican governors are going to open their states up, and then people in the Democrat Confederacy of states, the new Confederate States of America, wherever these states may be, who do not open up, their people are going to be plenty pissed. And you know what, see, Cuomo is, Governor Cuomo is the stereotype of the New Yorker that people don't like. A lot of New Yorkers don't like New Yorkers, and unfortunately here in Florida, we deal with them all too much, and they mess up our politics. But New Yorkers think there's New York and there's nothing else. That the world revolves around New York, that New York is the hub of the world, and it's, all these things. And I don't want to trivialize New York. New York is important, certainly the city is, but it's not the center of everything, I'm sorry to tell you. And Cuomo, setting up his Confederate States of America Northeast, he doesn't want the country to be opened up and then his state be closed. Well, that's what's going to happen. It's going to happen if they continue down this route. They're trying to portray President Trump as being out of his mind and insane and all these things. Go ahead and do that. When Fauci came out yesterday and put the media in their place, you could hear the tone. Are you doing this against your will? Are you a hostage? Is this a hostage? Have you been forced to do this by the president? Oh my gosh. The media couldn't, I can't do that. I shouldn't do these liberal voices this early in the morning. I won't be able to talk for the rest of the show, and there's 2 hours and 49 minutes to go. Oh, that was an epic press conference yesterday. I really loved that press conference yesterday. I really did. It woke me up. I was like, oh wow, this is amazing. This is amazing. Of course, the mainstream media cut away from it. Do you have absolute power? A couple of weeks back in the press briefing, these scuzzy people in the White House press corps wanted President Trump to take total federal control of every state and order the states around. Now they don't. This is the United States of America, not some loose confederation of independent states. What some of these governors and media people are talking about is when I say this, I don't say this lightly. They are in essence threatening to leave the Union. That's right. And it's the second time the Democrats have done this. And I don't know why more people aren't making this comparison to what the Democrats did in 1861. This state leaving, that state leaving. They don't recognize the authority of the federal government over their sovereign states. I mean, this is crazy. We haven't heard Democrats talk this way since the segregationist Democrats. That's right. So I got some audio. We'll get to all of that on the show today. Your calls are welcome. I'm ready for America to get back to work. Are you guys? Is there anyone out there who is not ready for America to be reopened and get back to work? I'd love to hear that argument. Keep New York shut down, Cuomo. Keep it shut down. Yeah, that's smart. That's smart. The whole state, right? Give me a break. Oh yeah. Yeah, I just to me yesterday when this started, because you could tell the media were getting upset that the country is getting ready to be reopened, and they just can't have it. We haven't had a total economic collapse yet. We can't reopen the country until the economy is completely collapsed. I mean, that's what they're basically saying, isn't it? I've never seen anything like this. I really have not. A lot of Acosta wannabes in that press briefing room yesterday, especially that new girl who's now the it girl. You know who I'm talking about? What's her name? I didn't know her name until yesterday. I got Paula Reed from CBS. She's very famous now. Paula Reed. I wonder how many cats she has. I'm just curious, Paula Reed. How many cats do you think Paula Reed has? She got very famous yesterday. I wonder how many followers she gained on the Twitter yesterday. CBS's Paula Reed. I've never seen anything like what I saw yesterday in that press briefing. What a disrespectful bunch of people in that press corps. Donald Trump is the president of the United States. And I'm sorry, that video, did government workers do this campaign video? And that Jonathan Carl, who was laughing at the president yesterday, he couldn't go, we got him. Listen, What they have been accusing the president of, and he corrected yesterday, they are accusing the president of being responsible for the death of Americans by not shutting America down sooner. Now, perhaps if the country would have been shut down in 1780, a lot of things may not have happened. My goodness. But they're accusing him of being, what they've been saying is he's responsible for the death of Americans by not shutting the country down sooner. Well, yeah. If you would have shut the country down in 1950, maybe none of this would have happened. So they're out there accusing him of killing people. What is Donald Trump supposed to do when they're accusing him of being responsible for the death of Americans? Is he supposed to sit there and take it? If this is supposed to be, they're taking a lot of issue. Well, this was supposed to be a health briefing, not a political rally. We're cutting away. Then why do they have political reporters? A couple weeks back, I said, you know what? Why don't they have Sanjay Gupta and the network medical reporters at the press briefing, since it's medical and health related, as opposed to these political? They can get political, but he can't defend himself. You're accusing the man of killing Americans. He has every right, and he should come out there and correct the record. President Trump made me proud yesterday. I thought that was brilliant. When he came back and when he stepped aside and I saw that video come up, I was like, oh my goodness. How exciting. How exciting. If you're on hold, stand by. We will take calls after the break. It's Tuesday morning, people. We're here live. My name is Brian Craig. Our number toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-CANE-1, 888-465-2631. We'll be back right after this.
Well, we are privileged today to have in studio with us Dr. Gupta. He is with Brighton Dental Care, and with all the excitement that's been going on during this difficult period we've been through, Dr. Gupta has been there for his patients. You have remained open. You're considered an essential business, right? Tell us a little bit about what it takes to be an essential business.
Yes, essential business means like if the patients need us because they have pain or they have some dental emergency or they have any health problems, or maybe other essential businesses are like food and drugs and things like that. So we are one of the essential businesses where we take care of the patients in emergency which have like pain, and we don't want them to suffer over a period of time, thinking that they cannot see a dentist, it might be closed. But
make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed, guys.
We are open here, and we can take care of them. And we have all the precautions here so that they feel very safe to come to our office and have their treatment done.
Can you expand on that a little bit? What are some of the things you do to keep the environment safe in this difficult time?
First of all, I would like your listeners to know that we wish them and their family and friends to stay healthy and safe from this coronavirus. And as far as the things we are doing at our practice, we are doing more than what the CDC guidelines are. So we are putting, number one, we are putting the patients spaced out in the appointment book so that the patients don't even interact with each other. Only one patient will be seen at a time in our clinic. And number two, some of the times the patient comes early. As you know, we have a very big waiting area, so we can keep them separate at least minimum of 6 to 8 feet apart. And sometimes we even tell our patients, hey, if it is possible, you can stay outside in your car and we will let you know when we are ready for you, so that the patients don't interact with each other of a different family member. We ask patients to wash their hands before they even sit on the chair so that they are clean and we are clean and our chairs are clean. And then also, of course, we as the doctor and the assistant, we wear two kind of masks. We wear the N95 first, and on top of that one, we put the
Australia
mask to protect them, and also the shield so that there is no kind of any cross-contamination between us and the patient. And we use the disposable as far as possible. And of course, there are certain instruments they are not disposable, so we sterilize them.
Right.
And also all the area around the chairs and the chairs itself, they're all disinfected before we do any of the dental procedures.
Well, you certainly are prepared over there, and you've been my dentist for quite a while now, and I can only tell those of you that are not familiar with you, Dr. Gupta is the best. He is caring. He is always there when you need him. He's always right on top of things, and he's somebody that you really can trust without any question. You put your patients first. You will be open. All they have to do is call to make that appointment at
We're coming back.
954 area code
20 seconds.
922-4633.
Let me say the final word.
Sure,
Thank
please
you for
do.
having me at your radio show today, and wish you, your family, your friends, and especially your listeners a safety from coronavirus, and God bless America.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for
Yeah, Dr. Gupta. He is open. Free exam, free x-rays for Steve Kane listeners. 954-922-4633. We're talking about President Trump's epic press conference yesterday. I'm excited. I know you are too. Let's go to our phones. 1-888-GO-KANE-1. That's 888-GO-KANE-1, K-A-N-E, and the number 1, 888-465-2631. If there's anyone out there who does not want to reopen America, please call. Good morning.
Hey, Brian, it's Mike and Boca.
Hey, Mike and Boca.
I watched the press conference yesterday. It was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. Were you before the break? You were talking about the reporter. Were you referring to the blonde woman?
Yeah, the one up front.
Yeah, because he timed it perfectly. After she did her rant, he played the video. If anyone out there hasn't watched it, you have to watch it because don't watch so much the video. Look at his gestures. They were right on cue. He was warming them up, and they were so sour. And I understand that CNN, MSNBC cut away from that. They didn't even play that
Yeah.
montage.
Yeah, I know. They're the filters of news now. They decide what is news and what is not, what you need to see and what you need to hear. Luckily, they're lowly rated compared to this. I watch the White House press briefings on the White House YouTube channel. I don't watch it on television. That way I get it. I don't have to worry about any cutting away.
And
Yeah, One American News is also very good. Yeah, I got that One American News app. Yeah, that girl, I don't know how many followers she had on Twitter before and then after the event, but I'm sure she gained a lot. Paula Reed. How many cats do you think she has? She looks like she has a lot of cats.
all right, she might have more.
Yeah, exactly. You know what they say. She does. Just as she look like a cat lady, she looks like a cat lady. She's the next Jim Acosta. She's Jamie Acosta. We'll call her Jamie Acosta. I thought that was great yesterday.
I'm reading the headline this morning, and what they got out of this, he's probably going to have to talk about it. I'm not sure, but they kind of stoned it. I didn't think anything about it. AP's claiming that he's saying that he has total authority over the governors. Now, I don't know how accurate that is. Maybe you want to put your input.
He said specifically later in that press conference, he says, I am talking about the issue in which we are discussing, which is the reopening of America. He didn't say that he had total control. I've got total power. I can do everything. He didn't say that. He said, so far as this issue goes, the President of the United States has the final say and total power when it comes to that. And that is true. And this Confederate States of America East Coast and the Confederate States of America West Coast with Newsom and Cuomo, I mean, I tell you, it's 1861 all over again. The Democrats are seceding from the Union again.
Well, I think that May 1st looks extremely promising. I mean, we've got our masks. We're doing our social distancing, and we got to open up 100%. I mean, think about the farmers and the milk people.
Well, think about everybody. Think about everybody. Yeah, I mean, think about everyone. The hairdressers, the barbers, the nail salons, the malls. The malls have been closed for weeks. Think about all the retail workers at the malls. I know a lot of retail stores are open and strip centers. but the malls have been closed. It's awful what they're doing here. And at this point, it looks like what it is, they want a complete economic collapse. I mean, that what other reason would they not want the country to be opened up?
Yeah, did you watch Tucker last night at all?
I did not. No.
Dr. Siegel did his test on TV.
Oh my goodness! You mean the quick test? How'd that come out? He was negative, right?
Yeah, he was negative.
Yeah. How long did it take to get the results?
Yeah, not even 10 minutes.
Oh, he did it live on the air? That's amazing.
He had a start a friend. They were on, and they said how it was going to work, and he swabbed his nose on national TV, and then he said, we'll get back with you. And about 10 minutes later, he came back, and he said he was negative.
Well, how cool is that? No, I missed that. Oh, man, I'll go watch that later. I'll go watch that later when I'm off the air. That's amazing. All right, take care, Mike and Boca. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Mike and Boca. So, Governor Cuomo, who is really kind of the self-appointed president of the new Confederate States of America, the East Coast edition, the Northeast Coast edition, he was talking about the president. Let me play this. This is important stuff to play. This is Governor Cuomo last night.
Saying I have total authority, which is not true. It's not legal. It's a total abrogation of the Constitution. The 10th Amendment specifically says powers to the states. Alexander Hamilton, all the founding fathers talked about the power of the states and how repugnant it would be for a federal head to say that they have eminent authority. The Constitution says we don't have a king.
Okay, we don't have a king. So here's Governor Cuomo saying that it's states' rights. We don't recognize the federal government. I want to play a clip. This is another governor. He was the governor of Alabama and a Democrat. Okay, got Democrat Governor Cuomo not recognizing the federal government. Democrat Governor Cuomo talking about the independence of the states. He's forming this Confederacy of states. I want to play for you a clip of another governor. His name, George Wallace. He was governor of Alabama, and he's talking on this very issue, states' rights versus federal rights.
The library, and you read the debates in the Constitutional Convention of the state of Virginia, and you read the debates in the Constitutional Convention of the state of New York, and of New Hampshire, and of the original 13 states, and you will find that not a single one of the states wanted to come into the Union until first they were guaranteed that we were going to have a government of limited powers, that all powers not delegated to the government expressly would be lodged and kept with the people of Virginia and of New York and of New Jersey. And in the debates in New Jersey and New York, they said, we've got particular and peculiar problems in New York.
That's coming next, Chuck. That's the next clip. Don't worry.
Ourselves. And so they wouldn't even come into the Union until first they agreed to put the first 10 amendments in the Constitution. And so those in the Constitutional Conventions sound exactly like we in Alabama sound, and sound exactly like many of you who are here today sound, and are completely foreign in their attitude to those today who are interpreting the Constitution of our country.
Okay, now that's Governor George Wallace, former governor of Alabama. And you hear him citing some of the same examples that Governor Cuomo cited, right? Founders, Convention, Constitution. Now, you millennials probably don't know who George Wallace is. He was a very prominent Democrat of yesteryear. He's a very strong supporter of states' rights apart from the federal government. And the most famous quote from Democrat Governor George Wallace is this one.
And I say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
Oh, yeah, then the Democrats in the background go wild. So the reason I play this is I want you to understand that the Democrats, throughout the history of this country, have argued that the federal government, that the president, when they're a Republican and they don't like him, does not have authority over them. George Wallace, Democrat, fighting against segregation, not recognizing federal control. The Democrats formed the Confederate States of America when Lincoln was elected president, and we went to war over that, the Civil War. And now they're doing it again. And there's probably some other times too when Democrats have pulled this, but this is the third major time during time of national crisis, because the segregation issue was a national crisis too. There was a lot going on back then. But the Democrats, this is the third major instance when they have not recognized the federal government of the United States, nor the power of the federal government with the President of the United States. And I don't think that what I'm not accusing Cuomo of being a segregationist. Please don't misunderstand me. But what I'm telling you is Democrats have a long history, and they've lost every time, of doing what Cuomo is pulling right now. Now, when the president opens up the country, I don't think he has any plans on opening up his hometown, New York City. He may not even have any plans to open up any of New York, certainly not all of it. He said from the very beginning, when we open up the country, there'll be some hot spots that won't be open fully, but there will be others that will. And I'm very grateful that we have a great Republican governor here in Florida, where I live, Governor Ron DeSantis. Florida will be reopened 100% soon enough. Texas will be reopened. The Republicans will reopen, and the Democrats are going to fight it. And the problem they're going to have, the Democrats, the problem they're going to have are their constituents, the residents of their states, who don't want to be under house arrest anymore. People are wearing their masks. Many are wearing gloves. We're taking lots of precautions. Social distancing is the way of it. I mean, you can't go to a store now without the plexiglass between you and the cashier, the markings on the floor, where to stand, so you maintain social distancing. It's everywhere. Social distancing is a way of life now, and the American people have changed their behavior to make it possible to go back to work. Now, when this first happened throughout the country, we didn't have social distancing. We never even heard the phrase. We didn't know what it was. Social distancing, we thought, meant taking a break from Twitter or something. Okay? But the behavior of the American people have adjusted for the crisis. It's time to get back to work. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. My name is Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show, on the radio since 1977, as the Democrats form two new Confederate States of America. Governor Newsom out on the West Coast, Governor Cuomo on the East Coast. I guess the rest of us are flyover country. If you're on hold, don't go anywhere. We'll get to your calls right after the break. Be right back.
We have on the line attorney Barry Siegel, our estate planning attorney, and he's going to tell you what you can do to take care of your family in this very difficult period. Barry, what have you seen happening with estate planning since the outbreak of the coronavirus?
Steve Kane Show.
Since the outbreak of the Corona-19 virus, people have taken estate planning much more seriously. One of the things that we talk about often is how people procrastinate when it comes to setting up their estate planning, because estate planning, most of the time for people, is something they should do. But what the coronavirus has done with the outbreak and concern is made people put this at the top of their list. So instead of it being a should, it's become a must. And therefore, we have received a ton of calls from people who have been telling us that they've been meaning to do this for a long time, but now they've realized how important it is to make sure, even if they're doing everything right and they stay home and do their social distancing, they still just want to make sure that they have that peace of mind that they've set up their estate plan to take care of the people that they love. Many people prefer face-to-face meetings. I typically am one of those people. With what's going on, we are still able to help people either by doing telephone consultations or even video consultations. We can send a link over to you, and all you have to do is touch the button, and all of a sudden we're face-to-face. We can see each other, and we can have a consultation just as if you were sitting in our conference room.
Make sure you guys subscribe.
Where's my coffee? You don't have to worry about your safety. You don't have to come in wearing gloves and a mask. All you have to do is we ask you that you fill out a questionnaire if you're married, that both you and your spouse attend, and we're able to do the same things and ask the same questions. And
Do you guys think it's a stretch what I'm talking about with these new Confederate states?
It's been working out very, very well.
People are
Is that a
very
stretch, or do you think I'm
concerned
right on?
about their health care. What planning is important for people to have as it relates to their health care?
Brian, the healthcare planning is so very important. There are 3 key healthcare documents that everybody should have in their estate plan. The first one is the healthcare surrogate designation. The healthcare surrogate designation is a document that allows you to choose a surrogate or an agent to step into your shoes and make your healthcare decisions for you if you are unable to do so. We always recommend that you name at least 2 and
Stretching?
2 people together. But the
Okay,
people you
I want to
name
hear
step
it.
in and
They're
make
not
decisions
recognizing
for you
the,
health-wise.
guys,
You
call
know,
me on the
the
air on both
the
sides of
second
it.
healthcare document that is very important is the living will. The living will is the document that
I don't think it's a stretch at all.
the plug document. If you are mentally incapacitated, you can't make your own healthcare decisions, and you have a terminal condition, an end-stage condition, or you're in a persistent vegetative state, the living will tell your healthcare surrogate whether or not you want to be kept alive on a machine, if the machine is the only thing keeping you alive while you're in those conditions. So it's very important to have that so that your healthcare decision maker will be able to know what it is that you would have wanted. The third healthcare document that is so important is called a HIPAA authorization and release. You've been to a doctor in the last, let's say 17 years since the HIPAA law came out, and you've signed off that you read their HIPAA policy, and their HIPAA policy basically says that they won't share your private medical information with anybody other than other doctors, other specialists, other medical providers.
Car seats for
The
adults or for
authorization
children?
and release that you put up with your estate plan says, I want my medical information kept private, but you can share it with my spouse, my child, my brother, my sister, my friend, whoever it is that you would want them to be allowed to access your medical information, either by talking to the doctors and nurses and
Well,
medical staff, or even getting
anytime
the
there's a
medical records.
change.
All 3 of those healthcare documents are so
I never had a
important
car
for
seat when I was a
everybody to
kid.
have.
They
Even
did.
everyday
I don't
life,
think anybody had
so
car seats when I was that young in
Now,
the
Barry, the
70s.
Siegel Law Group, you are donating healthcare documents to people in
Under the
high-risk
10th
professions.
Amendment.
It's
What are you
healthcare
talking
workers,
about?
First responders,
Under the
and
10th.
even
I
those
love all
who
these
work
people
at
that name
animal
amendments like they think
clinics
they
and
know
shelters.
something.
Yeah, I can't say enough for the people out there who are risking their lives. This is interfering with their families, and they are just real heroes out there who are taking care of all of these ill people. So we wanted to make sure that they had the proper documentation that they needed for their own planning for themselves and their families so that they would be protected. So we are offering healthcare workers, first responders, and those who deal with animals in animal clinics and animal shelters, we are offering them a free healthcare surrogate designation and a free living will. So all they have to do is call our office, and we'll take care of that for them. Again, for all of you who are doing those difficult,
That's right.
handling that heavy load for all of us, we thank you very much. When you call the Siegel Law Group, we will give you a free consultation. That consultation can be either over the phone or by video conference, but the consultation will be free. So please give us a call, and we will set that up for you.
Call Barry Siegel's office right now and take advantage of that free consultation. His number is toll-free, 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782. Online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
Listen to The Steve Cage Show on iHeart.
Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. 2 questions, 3 questions. At the end of February, when Larry Kudlow said, it's contained, it's not airtight, it's contained, Kellyanne Conway said it's contained, and Donald Trump said it's a hoax. Were they lying, or were they ignorant?
No, they're not psychic. See, you heard what I said. They're not psychic. See, the thing is with you is when's the last time you went and earned a paycheck? Be honest.
They're lying.
Now, excuse me. When is the last time you went to work and earned a paycheck?
Were they lying?
Now, see, there you go. Boom. He can't even tell me. He's embarrassed. That's right. So, he doesn't want, if no one goes back to work, he won't be a loser. He'll be just like everybody else. That's what it is with Jeff. So Cuomo, who's becoming President Coin, anyone get that reference? Andrew Cuomo, President Coin of the Northeastern Confederate States of America. Anyone get that reference? President Coin. I don't know how many of you get that reference. Some of you might. Some of you, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. Someone will know. Someone will know who President Coin is. But, listen. That press conference yesterday, I was very excited from the beginning. President Trump came out and did his thing. And then Fauci came up. And, oh, man. Fauci. Fauci. This was beautiful. Let me play. This is Fauci. The media. You could hear the media. They were just sick. This is Fauci yesterday.
By the way, the other point I wanted to make is that I had an interview yesterday that I was asked a hypothetical question. And hypothetical questions sometimes can
No one knows who President Coyne is.
Because it's what would have or could have. The nature of the hypothetical question was if, in fact, we had mitigated earlier, could lives have been saved? And the answer to my question was, as I always do, and I'm doing right now, perfectly honestly, say, yes. I mean, obviously, if mitigation helps, I've been up here many times telling you that mitigation
No
works.
caps. I have to block you if you keep doing the caps. And you instigated. That's Julianne Moore in the Hunger Games.
You will probably have saved more lives.
Julianne Moore was President Coyne.
Initiated it later, you probably would have lost more lives. You initiated at a certain time. That was taken as a way that maybe somehow something was at fault here. So let me tell you from my experience, and I can only speak from my own experience, is that we had been talking before any meetings that we had about the pros and the cons, the effectiveness or not of strong mitigations. So discussions were going on mostly among people about what that would mean. The first and only time that Dr. Birx
Steve Kane show
went in and formally made a recommendation to the president to actually have a, quote, shutdown in the sense of not really shutdown, but to really have strong mitigation. We discussed it. Obviously, there would be concern by some that, in fact, that might have some negative consequences. Nonetheless, the president listened to the recommendation and went to the mitigation. The next second time that I went with Dr. Birx into the president and said, 15 days are not enough. We need to go 30 days. Obviously, there were people who had a problem with that because of the potential secondary effects. Nonetheless, at that time, the president went with the health recommendations, and we extended it another 30 days. So I can only tell you what I know and what my recommendations were. But clearly, as happens all the time, there were interpretations of that response to a hypothetical question that I just thought it would be very nice for me to clarify because I didn't have the chance to clarify.
Boom. So he said every time he made a recommendation, him and Birx to the president, he did it. Every time. Every time. Sorry, he just exposed fake news. And when Fauci started going that direction in the meeting, my wife and I were like screaming, oh, at home. Oh, my goodness. It was crazy. It was crazy town at my house when that started. I was so excited. And you could just hear the media. Oh, man, you could hear the media. They were so upset. And then Paula Cuomo, Paula Reed from CBS. I didn't know who she was until yesterday. And she's very excited, CBS's Paula Reed, because people know who she is. I'm talking about her. Paula Reed, CBS. I'm so famous now. It's not just me and the cats anymore. So Paula Reed immediately says to Fauci,
are you doing this voluntarily or did the president?
No, I'm doing it. Everything I do is voluntarily. Please, don't even imply that.
Yeah, sorry. Are you a hostage? Is President Trump holding your family hostage and making you do this? Has President Trump threatened to fire you if you don't do this? What a nutcase. Oh, my goodness. Richie the bus driver.
Yeah, good morning. You know, let me tell you, the press is totally so exposed. They might as well put a bunch of rockets and arrows sitting in there asking questions.
Oh, yeah.
And it is so obvious. And they never accepted President Trump as the President of the United States. Now you see it. And they're surly and they're disgusting.
Well, what do you think about Governor Cuomo forming a new Confederate States of America Northeast and Governor Newsom threatening to form a Western Confederate States?
Yeah, I'm getting there. Here we get. I mean, let me say this to you. The President of the United States is the President of the United States, okay? And being an ex-New Yorker, I'm embarrassed that they have a governor up there, a liberal hack, who says we're New Yorkers and we know we're the best and we're going to beat this thing because we're New Yorkers. And at the same time, the
son of a gun is begging President Trump for everything, for handouts, because he's mismanaged the whole damn state. And that's the truth. And now he's the beggar in chief, okay? And they manage, these stations manage to cover him every day, and they don't call it a campaign rally, do they? This guy.
No, and they don't mind. What Governor Wallace or Cuomo in New York, he has video and PowerPoint presentations every day, and the press cover them. They're on television. They never cut away. They carry the whole thing, and it's okay. President Trump calls them out, and oh boy, you can't do that.
Okay, don't believe your lying eyes. So every day these people come at the president with a different attack, and when he puts up the videos showing that they're full of crap, they've reported this whole thing wrong. They do whatever they want. They have a habit of watching what I watch and then twisting everything the other way. And when they're called out by the president of the United States, and they don't really, and they're all like parakeets.
Well, out of all, I don't mind Paula Acosta wannabe Reed there from CBS, the cat lady. But Jonathan Karl from ABC was laughing at the president, and it was so strange. Jim Acosta wasn't in the press briefing room yesterday. And I was on Twitter as soon as President Trump showed the video, I was on Twitter, and Acosta, even though he wasn't in there, immediately tweeted, President Trump has just showed a campaign video. And as soon as I read that tweet, Jonathan Karl asked President Trump who produced that campaign video they just watched. They had gotten the talking point within seconds, and Jonathan Karl was sitting there like some villain in Batman. We gotcha. Did government workers spend time getting paid by the government to make this video? And he was laughing like, we got him. Skanky Daniels didn't do it. Mueller didn't do it, but this video will bring him down. What a bunch of jerks.
Now, in the beginning, the gentleman that called up attacking me personally.
Oh, you got to get over that. That was like 5 days ago.
I'm trying to say I got over that. I don't care about that. But what I'm saying is I was against people going back to work because I was looking at the models, and the president was lied to by the doctors and the models. They said 2 million Americans could die. Now we're going to have less than 60,000. And for everybody out there, every life matters, including my own. But the fact of the matter is, one person every 11 seconds dying in the United States. Fact. So
on a normal day. Yeah.
Back to work.
Well, absolutely. And, yesterday the Surgeon General said that he is not using models. He says they are now using real data because they have real data now that they're no longer using models. Now, I know the media want to continue to use models because the models make things seem much worse than they actually are. So
the doctors, man. The president literally has followed these doctors and the models. Now they're griping that he's going to go against the models because the models were totally wrong.
So what happens when Governor Wallace up there in New York, who says states' rights over the federal government doesn't reopen, and he's got this confederation of states up there who refuse to reopen it when the president says open? What's going to happen here, Richie?
Tell you what's going to happen. I sat and saw Governor Wallace. I was around when that happened, so I let everyone know. It was about a young black gentleman trying to get into college, okay? And the governor blocked the college steps. So what did the president do? He sent in the National Guard and removed them. The bottom line, he can send in the National Guard, but he won't because New York is a hot spot. So the Governor Cuomo could keep New York closed. I don't think President Trump is going to interfere with.
Listen, I think average New Yorkers want to get the hell out of their apartments and back to work. And they will.
I don't know if they're going to. The city streets are going to go up.
Well, listen, the hardcore rich liberals and the Broadway crowd and all that, they'll stay inside. They'll do as Governor Cuomo tells them. But when the rest of the country opens up, and certain Democrats pull this stunt. It's one thing. New York City is different than New York State. New York State as a whole is okay. New York City is where, is ground zero yet again, sadly. There is no reason to keep all of the state of New York closed. I'm sorry. No reason.
No, they marched. No reason. They marched yesterday in Kentucky, at the state capital of Kentucky, wanting to open up Kentucky. I mean, the people are hungry. They're out of work. They need paychecks. And let's get over this already. 60,000 people might die from this. But like I said, 1 out of every 11 seconds in this country die of everything else.
You can look this up by your zip code now, and there are a little more than 50 people in my zip code that have tested positive for coronavirus. I don't know how many of them have gotten over it because they never subtract from the number of the people that have gotten over it, but, there's more people on my street than that. Oh, that's where you're at, yeah.
Yeah, and there's 4 in my city.
Mm-hmm.
And they know who they are. The bottom line is we're still social distancing from everybody.
I'll tell you one thing I am not going to do. I am not going to download this app that monitors who I come in contact with and then get a notification if they test positive for coronavirus. I'm not going to do that. Are you going to, oh, no way.
No, listen, we have to get over this. We have to go back to work. Unfortunately, I'm on a fixed income and I have a check coming in, and I feel for everybody out there now. And to actually say I was totally wrong from the very beginning, because I thought that the models were 2 million people. But as I see it now, less than 60,000 people get us back to work.
Absolutely. Listen, I am working, and and there's been a couple days in the last few weeks where I wanted to take a day off because I'm tired. You know what I mean? I'm tired. And I haven't, because, there are so many people out there that are out of work in this country. I'm not going to take a day off because I'm tired right now. When this is over, I'm gonna take a day off and go to Disney World maybe. But that,
Watching right now, you know what we're watching right now? Because you're a sci-fi guy. We're watching The Twilight Zone, and
yeah, we are. That's right.
Twilight Zone. You could say everybody one day in this country was prosperous and working. The next day, the country stood still.
Yeah. Well, listen, I got to run. Richie the bus driver, thanks for the call. We're late for the break. Oh, my goodness, 51 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. This is The Steve Kane Show. Don't go anywhere.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
This is Dr. Mitchell Matez of the Boca Raton Center for Age Management, and I'm here today to talk to you ladies about a rather annoying and embarrassing problem of aging known as urinary stress incontinence, or as we call it, the sneeze peas. This is a condition where women leak urine from their bladders when sneezing, laughing, jumping, or straining in any way. Great news, folks. The No Pee Shot, a simple, painless procedure done in our office, will allow your body to grow healthy.
If you haven't already, subscribe, guys.
If you are tired of the hassles and embarrassment associated with urinary stress incontinence, if you are tired of spending money on pads, changing pads, and inconveniencing yourself, please call us at the Boca Raton Center for Age Management, 561-953-5490. That's 561-953-5490. Or visit our website, hormonetherapybocaraton.com.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network. Listen to The Steve Kane Show, live in Morning Drive on 1470 AM and 95.3 FM.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. Oh my goodness, I was looking for something. I can't find it. You know, when I'm here by myself and I have to do something, it can be difficult sometimes. I'm looking for something here and I can't find it. Let's see, today's Tuesday. That means yesterday was Monday. Oh my goodness, I'm going to have to find this during the break. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. All right. Oh boy. Sometimes I need help. I do. I can't do all this by myself sometimes because I am looking for something. I cannot find it, and it's something I need. But I'll find it. I'll figure it out. I know where it is. It's right here on this flash drive. Okay, you guys have no idea what I'm talking about, but mostly what I'm doing is talking to myself and giving me some mental notes about what I got to do while I'm talking to you all. Hold on a second here. So you get a total behind the scenes here. You know, especially if you watch on YouTube. If you guys watch on YouTube, Brian Craig on YouTube, which you guys should be doing. If you watch on YouTube, I hope I didn't delete all that yesterday. Let me see here. I did. Let's see. Oh my goodness. Oh no, that was Friday. Okay, I'm looking for the wrong day. I'm looking for a commercial. That's what I'm doing, in case you guys are wondering. I got it. I'm just looking at the date. Let's see here. Friday. Oh my goodness. This is just awful. Let me organize it by down. Great. I'll find it. Don't worry. I have everything under control. Behind the scenes, people. Behind the scenes of radio. It's very exciting stuff. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We're just a few minutes left in this hour. I apologize for taking that break late. I do want to remind everyone, though, that all of the Steve Kane Show sponsors are open for business. And I know a lot of you out there have been going out of your way to support our sponsors, and I want to thank you for that. And continue to do that, because when you support our sponsors, not only are you supporting this great show, the longest-running radio show in Florida, but you're supporting our great sponsors, right? And I do want to thank you, as does Steve, for your continued support of all of our sponsors. And again, all of our advertisers are open for business during this difficult time, in spite of the Democrats wanting to shut everything down. All right, so this battle about to open America or not, President Trump has said from the very beginning that when they reopen the country, there will be some areas that will not open fully and many that will. And, you know, it's time. If we had not made any I know a lot of people feel a major loss in our rights. Like, I went to Walmart yesterday. I made a YouTube video about this. And, here in South Florida, you are now required to wear masks everywhere you go. You got to wear masks everywhere you go. I saw 3 people turned away from Walmart yesterday because they didn't have masks. And it was 2 hoochies and some barely dressed women. There were these 2 girls. They were like 25, 30 years old. They were barely covered. I mean, they had so little clothing on, and they got turned away. And boy, were they shocked, because women that walk around dressed like these women were, they're not accustomed to a man telling them they can't get in somewhere. It was kind of funny, actually. And I guess they have an opposition to face masks because it covers up some of their skin, and they don't want to cover up some of their skin. And then I saw a guy who was also turned away from Walmart, and he was really upset. The girls were just in shock. Don't you see? We're hardly... Guys don't say no to us. We could go wherever we want. You're not that hot, honey. I mean, come on. But you should... I wish you could have seen these girls. They were wearing dresses that were so tight, skirts that were so tight, the whole outfit looked like it was spray painted on. And the skirts were cut so low, I mean, it barely covered it. You know what I'm saying? And when the guy at the door of Walmart told these 2 girls they could not come in, they were like, they've never been told no to by a man. Sorry, ladies. I don't know. But then this guy, he got upset when they said he couldn't come in without a mask. Now, Walmart should actually be handing out the disposable surgical masks to customers who show up. And they did have a special line. They had some barricades. You had to go this way and walk that way to get in. They had all these rules and everything like I've never seen before. But, you know, this is the way it is everywhere, right? Everywhere you go, there's a new way of doing things. I went to get coffee today at the gas station. I'm really upset that Starbucks is not opening up until 6 o'clock in the morning. They typically open up at 5:30. Now they're not opening up till 6, and I can't get my my blonde hot Americano that I really am used to in the morning because I can't go there at 6. It's pretty close to the studio, but not so close that I can get there at 6. I was thinking about actually, because I'm so addicted to that caffeine in the mornings. I'm going through caffeine withdrawals because the coffee I'm getting now doesn't have a lot of caffeine in it. I was toying with the idea of having the radio station do the top of the hour break at 6 and me come over here, but I think it's too tight on the timing. But you know, every business you go to has made adjustments. Every workplace has made adjustments. Many of you are working from home. And if you're not and you're going to your workplace still, there's precautions that are being made. You go to the grocery store and they sanitize the carts. You know, when I went to Walmart yesterday, they required masks. Carts are being sanitized. You know, you see this everywhere you go. When I went to get my morning coffee today at the gas station, I went to Cumberland Farms. They had signs up in front of every parking space that you are not permitted to come into the store unless you were wearing a mask. No mask, no service. So that's the way it is during this. And I know a lot of people say, well, we're giving up a lot of our rights, our freedom. Maybe so, but there is a pandemic going on. And these mild things like wearing a mask and doing social distancing, I think is smart and we should be doing it. And that's fine. The country has changed its behavior to such an extent that we can now reopen things in most of the country, and people will maintain this when they get back to their work environment. Right? Exactly. All right. It's 7:01. My name is Brian Craig. I'll try to do what I was trying to do during that last break, during this break. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Indeed it is. Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977. We'll be right back after this.
0.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a
Found
lot
what I
of
was
work
looking
done,
for.
and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton Dental for my free consultation, which, by the way, he offers to all Steve Kane listeners.
Found what I was
had
looking
two
for.
cavities. I needed a crown on top and a crown on the bottom. If I were a horse, they would have put me down. So I scheduled my appointment for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has Saturday appointments available, and they saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from taking care of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures, just like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Veterans and spouses of veterans, you may be entitled to benefits that you are not aware of, including long-term care benefits. Call attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group and find out what benefits are available to you. With offices in Boca Raton and Fort Lauderdale, call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782.
Attention seniors over the age of 65.
I hit the wrong button.
In this unsettling time due to COVID-19, if you have recently lost your job or been forced into retirement and want to learn about all of your Medicare health insurance options, call Debbie and her team at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080 for a free review of your existing health insurance plan and to receive a free no-obligation education on all of your Medicare options. I Will Advisors are carrier neutral, which means they don't just represent one insurance carrier.
I hit the wrong
they
button.
represent all major
Coming
national
back after this.
carriers and will guide you through the confusing process to find the right plan for your particular needs. Free of charge. Call Debbie and her team right now. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Yes, we're back. Alrighty, we are back. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. It's Tuesday morning, the 14th day of April, 2020. We are here live. I spent the first hour telling you how Governor Cuomo is setting up a new Democrat Confederate States of America, and in a certain extent that they're not recognizing federal authority. Just like the Democrats did during segregation, just like the Democrats did that in 1861 and gave us our Civil War. So, you know, I was asking people, is this a stretch on my part? Is this a stretch? They're not... The Democrat governors, yet again, refusing to recognize the authority of the federal government and the President of the United States in time of crisis, right? Is it a stretch, what I'm saying here? Well, let me read you this. This is in Breitbart. And you tell me. New York Governor Andrew Cuomo teamed up with blue state governors, that means Democrats, right? New York Governor Andrew Cuomo teamed up with blue state governors on Monday to set up a task force of experts to set the timing to reopen their economies during the coronavirus crisis. This is about being smart first, not political, smart. The creation of the task force appears to jump ahead of President Trump's attempt to take charge of reopening the economy with a federal group of advisors and federal group of experts. Cuomo announced his task force during a conference call with the governors of New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Delaware, and the media. So I guess the media, the fifth estate is now a state. So we got New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and the media. So we got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Delaware, and the media. That's 7, right? Did I count that right? So the new Confederate States of America includes those states plus the media, the fifth estate. Governor Cuomo said, let's be smart and let's be cooperative and let's learn from one another. The governors praised the leadership of Cuomo. Governor Cuomo, right there, is out there to undermine the federal government in a time of national crisis. A pandemic like we have not seen in the modern era is going on right now. President Trump is attempting to get us out of this crisis, and we have Cuomo acting yet again as if he's the president, right, with these daily press briefings. This just cannot be. This cannot be. Not in a time of a national crisis like this. Just can't happen. And it's only a matter of time before other people around the country start talking the way I am. I was talking about this Confederate States, this new Confederate States yesterday. So I think I was the first person, without question, to bring this up. So I want to go on the record that I was the first person. If you hear anyone bring this up, it's after I have, okay? So I want to be clear. Someone's got to give me credit. So I might as well give it to myself. Yeah. It's pretty sad, because what's going on in this country is awful. And what I've been worried about from day one is the economy more than coronavirus, because I knew that Trump and his team of experts would get a handle of coronavirus. You could tell early on they were doing all the right things. And the shutdown is what worried me more than anything. And what the president did yesterday was necessary. These press conferences with the president are vital, because the media have been setting a narrative for a long time, and the president comes out there every day so that the media cannot create the narrative. He's creating the narrative, and it is very important in this time of crisis for the American people to be united behind their president, no matter who they are. Not President Cuomo or President Newsom out there in California. So what they've been accusing the president of over the weekend is accusing him of not shutting the country down soon enough, which resulted in the loss of life. So what the media have been accusing the president of is being responsible for the death of many, many Americans, because he didn't shut down the country soon enough. So I think he was duty-bound to come out yesterday and correct the record. I think it had to be done. And when he did that, MSNBC cut away. Listen to this. This is MSNBC. They were carrying the coronavirus task force press conference yesterday. And after Fauci, the media meltdown began, and MSNBC cut away. Listen to this. This is the MSNBC cutaway from the press conference yesterday.
We are cutting into what was not a White House coronavirus task force briefing. I am Ari Melber. Our special coverage continues. We are going to avoid airing any more of this White House briefing until it returns to what it was supposed to be.
Wow. We are not going to carry the President of the United States until it gets back to what we want it to be about. I thought news was supposed to be an observer of news, not decide during a live event with the President of the United States during a national crisis, the coronavirus pandemic, that something's not news. They go on. Let me rewind it a bit so you can hear it all, but they go on. MSNBC yesterday.
Into what was not a White House coronavirus task force briefing. I am Ari Melber. Our special coverage continues. We are going to avoid airing any more of this White House briefing until it returns to what it was supposed to be, which was the coronavirus task force providing medical information. What we just saw, I want to be very clear with viewers, was a video the White House put out which suggests they are spending their precious time right now making videos that defend the president's record and tenure rather than provide the much-needed emergency medical information that was promised at these daily briefings. I want to bring in Anne Ramoyne, an infectious disease expert at UCLA, virologist, and NBC Science contributor Joseph Fair. Howell Raines, former executive editor of the New York Times, is with me as well. And Hal, I begin with you because you ran the New York Times. You know your way around journalism. I'm curious, as a journalist, what you think it's important that viewers know when the White House basically takes over what was promised to be a coronavirus task force briefing and does some kind of backward-looking, edited video propaganda instead.
Ari, I think this is one of the most astonishing acts of disinformation we've seen from a White House since the Vietnam era and the 5 o'clock follies of Lyndon Johnson's administration.
Well, they got somebody on telling it, going back, it's been in journalism that long, maybe they need to retire. You know, when they, I don't know what CNN did, I understand they cut away as well. The reason they cut away is because the media was being fact-checked. What President Trump did yesterday was not a political campaign. He was fact-checking them. And he was going back, showing everything that had actually happened so that this false narrative from the media wasn't the narrative that was out there. We're in a crisis worse than September 11th because it's been going on. September 11th was a horrible event, but luckily, because of the quick action of President Bush and Dick Cheney, the attacks on the homeland stopped quick, the grounding of the planes and things. This pandemic has been going on for how long now in America? We are in a prolonged period here, and everything that happens in the White House press briefing room is news. And Ari over there on MSNBC, if this is supposed to be just about health, why are all of the reporters over there political reporters, even NBC? Why has NBC and CNN and the rest not sending their health reporters and medical correspondents, but sending political reporters? Right? Because it is a political event, and it's also a health event. It's both. And if they really believe this was a true health event and no politics were involved, Sanjay Gupta would be there from CNN, and all the health reporters from every other news outlet would be there. But are there any health reporters in there? I haven't seen any health reporters in there. Another thing about the reporters, they go to work every day, and they use the social distancing guidelines and everything else that we've done to change our behavior. If they can go to work every day, why can the rest of America not go back to work? You know why? Because the media think they're smarter than you and that they're more important than you and that they can behave responsibly, and you cannot because you didn't go to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Columbia School of Journalism. You're not Oxford, you know. You're not any of that. You may not have even gone to college. Oh boy, you didn't even go to college. Oh, well, you know, unlike these jerks. But that's how they really think. They think they're better than you. They think they're smarter than you, and me too, all of us. They're the press, and they can go to work. They can social distance, but the peasants of America, they didn't go to Harvard, Yale, Princeton, or all the others on the list, so they can't do these things. You know, the people you could smell at Walmart that Peter Strzok was talking about? You're not smart as they are. And, you know, they may not have very many people in that press room, but they're all outside, aren't they? So there's a lot of the White House press corps there each and every day. Why is it okay for them to go to work going by these guidelines, but the rest of the country cannot? I would like to have heard the president or somebody else ask that of the media. Yeah, he was pissed off. They're accusing him of killing Americans. He should be pissed off. If he wasn't angry, he wouldn't be human. He has a right to be angry. He has a right to correct them. Our number is toll-free if you'd like to call in. 1-888-GO-CANE-1. 888-465-2631. 888-GO-CANE-1. That's Kane with a K, K-A-N-E, and the number 1. 888-GO-CANE-1. Good morning. Good morning.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the radio. Hey, Mike, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, you're absolutely right about that. They hate this president because he's setting the narrative and not them. Generally speaking, and throughout history, they have set the net. When a Republican has been in the White House, George W. Bush, Ronald Reagan, even Bush 41, they set the narrative.
That's correct. Yesterday President Trump said that a friend, he didn't say who, he said a friend of his recently had coronavirus and took the malaria drugs and he's okay now. I was just wondering, was that friend Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom? I don't know. President Trump didn't say, and of course the press didn't ask because they don't want to hear that answer. I was curious about that. He said that in the press briefing yesterday. Yeah.
I'm gonna say if it wasn't Boris Johnson, then it's probably somebody he knows, and it's one of those things where maybe that guy or gal didn't want him to tell the.
My guess, I'm guessing Boris Johnson, but we don't know. But that would be my first guess. Would be Boris Johnson.
That's why they.
And I'll tell you why. The reason I think it was Boris Johnson, I don't know, but the reason that's my guess is because he didn't say the name. And because they're heads of state, there might be some confidentiality in the phone call. Like, remember, before he released the memo on the Ukrainian call, he got approval from the Ukrainian president first. So he, maybe for some reason he didn't get an okay from Boris to say it. If it was just a regular person, as opposed to a head of state, I think he would have said who it was.
Now, as far as them again with the media and they're all. I mean. What also bites them is because everybody now has a camera on their and a microphone on their cell phone, and they can be a citizen media, and they don't need a degree from whatever XYZ university, to be a media member, and
that's right. That's right.
Bites at them.
That's correct. Yeah, that's what Andrew Breitbart talked about, citizen journalism.
Right, and that's the thing now. You're right. Everything that happens in these press conferences is news. Everything.
Now, do you agree with me that, or is this a stretch, that Governor Cuomo is forming his own Confederacy of the states like the Democrats did in 1861?
Oh, yeah. At one point, I thought, because of how he was conducting his press conferences, he was kind of telling the Democratic Party, if you want to do this whole thing with broker convention, I want to be your presidential candidate. Mm-hmm. That type of thing.
Yeah. Now he's trying to get his own country up there.
Right, and that's the thing. Now, I mean, if you notice, there's a specific list of states that he mentioned.
Yeah.
And it's not places like Maine and places like that are states and stuff like that. And that's the thing. You look at them and you look at who he's talking about, and you look, and to tell you the truth, I don't trust the man as far as I can throw him.
Yeah.
With all the things that he's done in New York, including the gun stuff and everything else. But if he wants to try this, it's probably going to blow up in his face.
Well, what's going to happen is, listen, when Trump gives the reopen order, there's going to be some different rules in places like New York. He said that from the beginning. But, Cuomo and the Democrats are going to fight it. And the people in those states want to get out and get to work and get things back to as normal everyday life as they can. So they're going to have a tough time. Hey, Mike in Louisiana, I got to run for a break, but appreciate the call as always. 22 minutes after 7. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. Don't go anywhere.
Frank, the owner of Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware, wants you and your family to be protected during the coronavirus pandemic and has an incredible offer for listeners of the Steve Kane Show.
We get products continually coming in during after week. We get disinfectants, bleach, gloves, cleaning supplies. Everybody's looking for face masks. So the best thing that we came up with was a face covering. A lot of the cities are going to ask you to cover your face. So we've got a supply of bandanas. I'd love if every one of your customers that come in a free bandana just for mentioning the Steve Kane Show. The bandanas are face covering, and the cities are going to require, as we start to get back to work and get out, that everybody's required to have their face covered. So you can use this bandana to cover your mouth and your nose and to protect you and protect all those around you. The other thing is, while you're at home, why don't you get that honeydew list done? It's a painting project or sprinkler supply, or maybe treat yourself to a new grill.
Wow, what a great deal. These bandanas are reusable because you can wash them. So stop into Ace Hardware in Deerfield, just south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of US 1, and Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea, and get your free bandana from Ace Hardware. Business owners, is your business open and you want to let your customers know? Have you changed the services you offer and want to get the word out? Let people know you are open for business. This is Brian Craig. Call me at 1-888-465-2631. And let's talk about how the Steve Kane Show can get the word out that you are open for business. Don't let the coronavirus crisis put you out of business. Give me a call.
Well, thank you.
1-888-465-2631.
Yeah, no discovery on this show.
1-888-465-2631.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search.
Yes, yes. Welcome back, one and all. Oh, man. How many of you gone over to Ace Hardware already and gotten your free bandana to use as a mask? Everywhere you go, you've got to wear a mask to get in. And masks are difficult to come by. They really are these days. And, you know, you go over to Ace Hardware Deerfield, Beach Ace Hardware, and you mentioned the Steve Kane Show. They do carry masks and all the items you're looking for. They do stock them, but they're also giving away free bandanas to everyone who mentions the Steve Kane Show that you can use as a mask. It covers your nose, it covers your mouth, and these bandanas are the same types of bandanas you see construction crews and lawn crews wear to protect them from breathing in all that stuff during their work. So these are great bandanas, and also there's two other great things about them. One, they're free. That's great. You got to mention the Steve Kane Show. And the other thing is, they're reusable because they're washable. So go over to Ace Hardware Deerfield or Beach Ace Hardware, Lauderdale by the Sea. Mention the Steve Kane Show. Get your free bandana so that you can protect yourself and go into all of our businesses here in South Florida. All right? Because you got to wear a mask everywhere you go now. And that's a public place until this is over. All right. 1-888-GO, Kane 1-888-465-2631. So... yeah, so they accuse the president of killing Americans by not acting soon enough, which is just absurd. He corrects the record, and then Paula Reed from CBS, I call her Jamie Acosta Reed, trying to find out how many cats she owns, but nobody knows. She got into it. She got into it with President Trump. And keep in mind, she doesn't care. Her Twitter following has just exploded. She's now famous. I've never heard of her before. I've never noticed her before. And now everyone's talking about her. Everybody knows her. So she doesn't care how she behaved yesterday because there's that benefit to it. But this exchange between her and the president yesterday was great stuff.
Wait a minute. He called me xenophobic. He called me racist because he has since apologized and he said I did the right thing. So when you say, why didn't you this? Every Democrat thought I made a mistake when I did it. I saved tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of lives by doing it.
The argument is that you bought yourself some time and you didn't need to prepare hospitals. You didn't.
Okay, so now this is the narrative she has. You bought yourself time because you were unprepared. You know, listen. When there is an attack on this country like 9/11 or Pearl Harbor, okay, the success of those tragic events, Pearl Harbor and 9/11, are that we were attacked in a way we've never been attacked before, and it catches you off guard. And that's why the early days of these attacks are successful, but then the country reorganizes, boom, and we beat the Japs, or we, beat back the terrorists that attacked us on 9/11. Similar thing here. There's no buying time. Something has happened that has never happened before, This is worse than back in the early 1900s because people still did not travel like they do now globally. So there's never been something like this, like Pearl Harbor, like 9/11. There's never been something like this. And I think the president's done a great job, but their narrative is he bought himself time. So anyway, this is Paula Acosta-Reed, CBS with Trump yesterday.
Thought I made a mistake when I did it. I saved tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of lives by doing
Time
it.
that you bought, the argument is that you bought yourself some time and you didn't use it to prepare hospitals. You didn't use it to ramp up testing. Right now, nearly 20 million people
disgraceful.
are unemployed.
It's so disgraceful the way you said it. Let me just listen. I just went over it.
Or this ramp supposed to make people
I just went
confident
over
in
it.
an unprecedented crisis.
Nobody thought we should do it, and when I did it,
But what did you do with the time that you bought?
you know
The
we
month
did.
of February. That's
You know
what
we
the
did.
gap.
Yeah, see, have you seen such disrespect for the president of the United States? Would you, and by the way, it's Mr. President. Did you hear her once say that? Oh my goodness. You know, the media yesterday it is disgraceful, but they did so much damage to themselves, but they're too stupid to know it. Now I look now, Paula Acosta-Reed of CBS, she has 211,900 Twitter followers. I don't know how many she had before this, but I promise you she's gained thousands since then. I'm not going to follow her. I'm not going to follow her. I almost did, but I'm not going to follow her. I don't want to contribute to her ego because that's all she cares about. And she's, if she's not trending, she's pretty darn close to it. She's gotten famous now, just like Acosta. So anytime Paula Reed from CBS is in the press briefing room in the future, she's going to pull a stunt like that again. But I bet the next time we see her, she's got a new outfit on and gets her hair done, even though they're not supposed to get your hair done these days. And that's an interesting thing. You're not supposed to get your hair done. Are these people doing their own hair? I had Fox News on a little bit yesterday. I haven't seen... I was watching yesterday because Ed Henry, his hair has gotten very white lately because I guess during this period, his hair dye supply has run out because Ed Henry was really gray yesterday. He's usually not gray like that. So I was wondering about the ladies on Fox News. Do you see any of their roots showing yet, their true hair color? They're all still blonde and things, and I don't see any gray hairs. And I'm not seeing any roots. Who's doing the ladies' hair over on Fox News Channel in New York? They don't have a hairstylist doing their hair, do they? I'm sure they... You think they're doing their own hair? I don't know. I'd like to know. I would like to know how the Fox News ladies still have... Have you seen any of the Fox News women with the roots showing? The roots should be showing pretty strong now, especially in the 4K. And that's all I was watching yesterday. When I had Fox on, that's all I was watching for. I want to see some gray hairs, some brown hairs instead of the blonde hairs, and the roots, nothing. So, yeah, I know. That's how it is. That's how it is, people. Oh, man. Listen, it's time for our bottom of the hour break. 31 minutes after 7. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. That's right. We'll take that break and be right back after this.
We have on the line attorney Barry Siegel, our estate planning attorney, and he's going to tell you what you can do to take care of your family in this very difficult period. Barry, what have you seen happening with estate planning since the outbreak of the coronavirus?
Since the outbreak of the corona-19 virus, people have taken estate planning much more seriously. One of the things that we talk about often is how people procrastinate when it comes to setting up their estate planning, because estate planning, most of the time for people, is something they should do. But what the coronavirus has done with the outbreak and concern is made people put this at the top of their list. So instead of it being a should, it's become a must. And therefore, we have received a ton of calls from people who have been telling us that they've been meaning to do this for a long time, but now they've realized how important it is to make sure, even if they're doing everything right and they stay home and do their social distancing, they still just want to make sure that they have that peace of mind that they've set up their estate plan to take care of the people that they love. Many people prefer face-to-face meetings. I typically am one of those people. With what's going on, we are still able to help people either whether by doing telephone consultations or even video consultations, we can send a link over to you, and all you have to do is touch the button, and all of a sudden we're face to face. We can see each other, and we can have a consultation.
Well, thank you, Lisa.
We're sitting in our conference room, and the whole point of it is you don't have to worry about your safety. You don't have to come in wearing gloves and a mask. All you have to do is we ask you that you fill out a questionnaire if you're married, that both you and your spouse attend, and we're able to do the same things and ask the same questions and have the same conversations that we do when you're sitting right there in our conference room, either over the phone or by video conference. It's been working out very, very well.
People are very concerned in this.
Yeah, but the women,
about their health care.
there's somehow no. Do you see anybody showing roots? Any of the ladies on Fox showing the roots? Haven't seen it.
So very important. There are 3 key healthcare documents that everybody should have in their estate plan. The first one is the healthcare surrogate designation. The healthcare surrogate designation is a document that allows you to choose a surrogate or an agent to step into your shoes and make your healthcare decisions for you if you are unable to do so. We always recommend that you name at least 2, or you can name 2 people together, but the people you name can step in and make decisions for you health-wise, even life-ending decisions. The second healthcare document that is very important is the living will. The living will is the document that's typically called the pull-the-plug document. If you are mentally incapacitated...
No, women, the women. Have you seen any women on Fox showing their roots? I haven't seen any.
The living will
Steve Kane show.
Surrogate, whether or not you want to be kept alive.
Steve Kane
on
show.
The machine, if the machine is the only thing keeping you alive while you're in those conditions. So it's very important to have that so that your healthcare decision maker will be able to know what it is that you would have wanted. The third healthcare document that is so important is called a HIPAA.
Natural blondes? I don't think so.
You've been to a doctor in the last, let's say 17 years since the HIPAA law came out. You've signed off that you read their HIPAA policy. And their HIPAA policy basically says that they won't share your private medical information with anybody other than other doctors, other specialists, other medical providers.
They don't typically dye their own hair. They typically have the hairstylist do it at Fox.
My child, my brother, my sister, my friend, whoever it is that you would want them to be allowed to access your medical information, either by talking to the doctors and nurses and other medical staff, or even getting your medical records. So all 3 of those healthcare documents are so important.
Mascara, really?
Everyday life, let alone during these times.
Now, Barry, the Siegel Law Group, you are donating healthcare documents to people in high-risk professions. That's healthcare workers, first responders, and even those who work at animal clinics and shelters.
Yeah, I can't say enough for the people out there who are risking their lives. This is interfering with their families, and they are just real heroes out there who are taking care of all of these old people. So we wanted to make sure that they had the proper documentation that they needed for their own planning for themselves and their families so that they would be protected. So we are offering healthcare workers, first responders, and those who deal with animals and animal clinics and animal shelters, we are offering them a free healthcare surrogate designation and a free living will. So all they have to do is call our office, and we'll take care of that for them. Again, for all of you who are doing those difficult work, handling that heavy load for all of us, we thank you very much. When you call the Siegel Law Group, we will give you a free consultation. That consultation can be either over the phone or by video conference, but the consultation will be free. So please give us a call, and we will set that up for you.
Call Barry Siegel's office right now and take advantage of that free consultation. His number is toll-free, 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782. Online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
Conservative Doug, you're on the radio.
Good morning, good morning. You know, that woman, if I was up to me, if I was the one doing the conference, she'd become invisible now. What a miserable person that is. A big mouth idiot, doesn't know what she's saying. Trump did a good job putting her down. But man, she should be invisible. She should never take another question.
Yeah, you know, there was another woman, the one that was sitting behind that jerk from ABC, Jonathan Crow. I don't know her name, but she was getting all kind of yappy, you know, and Trump said, enough. And he put his finger up and moved on, and you should have seen her face. You know, women are all, you know, all want equality until they're treated like a man. They want to be treated like a man until they are. And that woman yesterday from CBS, Paula Acosta, whatever her name is, and then the one where Trump said enough, are like these 2 girls I saw turned away for not having a mask at Walmart yesterday. These 2 girls, you know, I saw Walmart turn 3 people away. They were like between 25 and 30, they were dressed like hoochie mamas. They were dressed in these tight skirts with the boobs hanging out and everything else. And I know you might be saying, well, why are you looking? I mean, how can you not look, right? And these girls, they had no mask, and the guy at the door turned them away from Walmart, and they were in shock because they've never had a man tell them no before. You know what I mean? They were like in shock. Can't you see my boobs are hanging out? What do you mean I can't do what I want? You're supposed to be checking me out. You know, I don't know if the guy at Walmart was gay. I don't know. But these women have never been told no before. And the two ladies in the press briefing room had never been talked to with full equality like President Trump talked to them yesterday either. And women, you know, they don't like being treated equally as men sometimes.
Yeah, well, these women really need to be, anybody, any press person, if they get disrespectful, they should be either put in the back, not answered to, picked on, whatever. This is not the way to treat the President of the United States, no matter what president it is.
Well, they're accusing the president of being responsible for the death of thousands of Americans due to incompetence. They're accusing him of of people dying because of his inaction. And when you accuse someone of such a serious thing, which that certainly is, I think that I would be disappointed if the president didn't go out there and correct the record like he did.
Yeah, well, he definitely did a great job protecting himself and responding. But any of these people now, he knows that you can't change a leopard spot. Next time they get a question, they're going to be saying the same miserable thing.
Were you watching that press conference live? Yeah, I mean, when Fauci started doing that walk back, I mean, I was like, what? It was crazy.
I still say Fauci is the new Jeff Sessions. We really should get rid of him.
Fauci? Nah, Fauci did all right yesterday. I disagree. Fauci did all right yesterday. I thought he did really good. See, what the media were doing over the weekend and yesterday is they were trying to get Trump to do with Fauci what they unsuccessfully tried to get him to do with Robert Mueller, and that's fire him. They were trying to get Trump to fire him so that they could say he fired the infectious disease head during the pandemic, and we got to impeach him now. Just like they tried to get him to fire Mueller. Now he has the authority to do that, but he didn't do it. And Fauci came up and defended Trump. Yeah,
he's like Sessions. He's a good guy, but he has a big mouth that should watch what he says. That's all I say. Yeah, he's some good information, I'm sure. But then when he says there's other things to scare people, that's what he needs to.
Well, when President Trump started showing that video, you could tell they just were totally triggered. Immediately, they were so triggered.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, Conservative Doug, thanks for the call. And Jim Acosta, he wasn't in the briefing room, but he was there out on the lawn, and he goes live on CNN.
And I have to tell you, that is the biggest meltdown I have ever seen from a president of the United States in my career. I don't think a reasonable person could watch.
You know, Acosta says he's a career. He's got a career as a journalist. Has he ever broken news? Does anyone know, has Jim Acosta ever broken news before? He says he's got this career. I don't know. Anyway, let's go back to this. Acosta after the videotape.
Biggest meltdown I have ever seen from a president of the United States in my career. I don't think a reasonable person could watch what we just saw over the last hour and conclude that the president is in control. He sounds like he is out of control.
Oh.
And he was ranting and raving for the better part of the last hour during that news conference. As John King was just saying, he's claiming that he has authorities that he doesn't have. The Constitution does not give the President of the United States total authority. And
he never said it. He didn't. He said in that press conference he has total authority on the issue in which they are discussing, which is the reopening of America. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is now. I will say I'm glad I did this yesterday, because yesterday I used this analogy and it was in the early days of it, and I'm so glad I did, because I can go on the record as first with this brilliance. I went to the Drudge Report during the break, and the picture on the Drudge Report is a Civil War picture, a Civil War drawing. So Drudge, he's a day late, but he's caught up to me. And he's talking about a civil war, that the Democrats are forming their own Confederate States of America again. I think, when people have said the South will rise again, I guess they meant the Confederacy will rise again, and that's what Governor Cuomo is doing. Oh man, I tell you, this is really a crazy time, isn't it? It's hard. What's going on in this period, it really hasn't, I don't think it's sunk into me, the gravity of the situation. And what I'm talking about is what's going on politically. Things are turning around so far as the virus, thanks to the great leadership of President Trump, who's done so many great things. But what's going on politically with the media and the Democrats now, having their own convention of the Democrat blue states with President Cuomo, head of the secessionist here. This is, I really can't believe this is happening. It is. I am in shock, and it's really going to go to a head when President Trump gives the okay to open up portions of the country. When he gives the okay to open up portions of the country, that's when everything's really going to get really nasty. Get really nasty. And I've been telling you for a month or more, however long this has been going on, that as soon as he gives the word to open up the country, the Democrats and the media are going to fight it. And boom. Yes, I was right again on that one, because that's exactly what they're about to do. And it's disgusting because, people are suffering. I heard there was a segment on Fox News yesterday morning I was listening to when we got off the air. And they were talking about people around America, and I'm sure this is true around the world, but around America, who have serious health conditions where they regularly go to their doctors, in particular their specialist. And Americans in some of these hot spots are not going to see their doctors that have serious pre-existing conditions because they're afraid, right? Because in New York, if you're in New York right now and you have a heart condition, are you going to run to your doctor as often as you would? Probably not. And around this country, there are people who need to be seeing doctors regularly for pre-existing conditions that are not. There is a health impact to that, to those individuals. People may die because of that. There are other ways to die. I saw this tragic story of a girl's suicide over the weekend because of the lockdown. They're talking about the increase. There was an article a few weeks ago about an increase in child abuse, an increase in depression, an increase in drug and alcohol use. All these things are going on. Do any of you know the Holderness family? Very famous YouTubers, the Holderness family. They're very funny. They became very famous a couple years back with a parody of Baby It's Cold Outside. Any of you guys watch the Holderness family? I watched them. They did a video yesterday about drinking wine at 11 o'clock in the morning during the week, There is an increase in drug use and an increase in alcoholism and all kinds of other things going on in the country. So listen, if you're on hold, stand by. We'll go to your calls right after the break. We'll get back to everything. I'll do a little bit of review and recap on some of the things I've been talking about. Our number toll-free, one opening on the board at 1-888-GO-CANE1, 888-465-2631. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
8.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Are you between the ages of 18 and 60 and have thought
Steve
about
Kane
getting
Show.
life insurance but never had the time?
Hey,
Or
Dr.
thought
Fezlon.
life insurance was too much work? Well, now is the time. Life insurance has changed. People are living longer, so rates are being reduced. These new life insurance policies also have living benefits, which means the owner can accelerate a portion of the policy's initial death death benefit should the insured become critically, chronically, or terminally ill. And the majority of applicants get approved without a medical exam and simplified underwriting, which means you're approved even faster. I Will Advisors can still assist anyone from the ages of 60 to 85 with life insurance. Call Debbie and her team to learn more. 954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays.
Make sure you
for this
subscribe
visit.
if you're not
So,
subscribed.
If you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Listen to The Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right. Welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show. On the line, Dr. Mitch Matez, our anti-aging doctor. Dr. Matez, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Brian. How you making it?
Great. How you doing?
I'm doing all right, Brian. Just reminding everybody that, as I do here, you remind everybody every day. Thank you. We are open, folks. We are considered an essential business. It is healthcare. And we are open for anything that you need. We are doing this as COVID-19 compliant as we possibly can. You know, the usuals here, one person in the office at a time, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But we are open. That's the key here, folks. Do not think that you cannot get what you need, even for new people. If you're sitting around at home and not doing anything and want to pull the plug and come on and see us, we're here for you. So,
Well, I can think of no better time that people need to have their sex drive restored, need to have their ability to get and maintain an erection restored. And certainly women suffering from menopause, I'm sure, want to restore their sex drive and vaginal dryness and have all the signs and symptoms, including mood swings and night sweats, reversed from the menopause. When people are so close together and so often, these things I think are even more important, Dr. Matez.
absolutely. You know, look around. I mean, things like this are way more tolerated by the young than the old in general. And, you know, if you feel good and you're healthy and active and vibrant, you can make this work a lot better than if you're feeling crummy because you're just going to, you know, your entire day is feeling crummy.
That's right. That's right. So Dr. Matez is open, not just for existing, okay, but also for new patients. Free consultation for Steve Kane listeners, 561-953-5490. And I don't know, Dr. Matez seems to be a Beastie Boys fan. I don't know, will you put Beastie Boys on in the office for people if they request it, Dr. Matez? Oh, that's great.
Today's lovely world, we just pull it up on a cell phone, and I'll even bring in a little portable speaker if somebody wants.
Yeah, I out of all of the commercials you have, the Beastie Boys one is the one I like the best. That might get a little extra play because I like to hear that. But yeah.
Want to really have fun and come in and want to bring a cassette tape if they haven't listened to it in a long time.
A cassette? Oh my goodness! Do you put the fat laces on too on your sneakers? My goodness! Well, you know, I'll tell you, Dr. Matez, the one thing about that Beastie Boys commercial you do though, it's a wake up call that the Beastie Boys generation are now seeking hormone replacement pellet therapy. That we're getting up there. So listen, give Dr. Matez a call again, a completely free consultation for Steve Kane listeners. 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490, and online, hormone therapy, BocaRaton.com. All right, Dr. Matez, we'll talk later in the week.
Buddy, stay safe.
All right, certainly we will. Dr. Matez, he's awesome. He's awesome. Yeah, that one, I'll just play the beginning of it, the one I was just talking about, where I just rearranged all of my commercials. This one here, I like this one.
Hey, ladies.
Yeah, that one there, that's the Beastie Boys one, yeah. All right, guys. Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Yeah, I tell you, you know, we're so lucky to have President Trump and in Florida, Governor DeSantis. I mean, you know, President Trump stands up to all these people. And you know what? That's great. When's the last time we had a president? You know, Republicans, see, one of the reasons Republicans lose so often is because they don't do what President Trump does. They don't fight back. They just take it. They let the Democrats destroy them, say whatever they want, lie, slander them, and they never respond. And he is the first Republican ever to respond and then set the narrative. And they don't like it. And basically, what he is doing is what the editors should be doing for these press people. He is fact-checking them and questioning their sources. Right? You know, there was another moment there that's kind of been forgotten with Mnuchin. Mnuchin's awesome. He's great. He used to be a movie producer. He produced the Lego movies and all that. He's very good, Mnuchin. And they that New York Times story that President Trump was tearing to pieces yesterday, a reporter asked Mnuchin about his role in making the decision about the travel ban. And he says, I had nothing to do with that. I wasn't involved in the meetings. I think I was traveling at the time. It was another example of the New York Times story being wrong. And they just moved on. You notice how they just moved on from that. Just moved on. Nothing to see here. Oh, man. So I want to do a little bit of recap of what I did at the very beginning of the show at 6, because I think it's very important. And Cuomo gave an interview yesterday. Governor Cuomo, not Fredo. Governor Cuomo. And, you know, Chris Cuomo, Fredo, had a bit of a meltdown yesterday. He does a radio show, too. And Fredo Cuomo, Chris Cuomo, he was talking about how he's upset at what he's doing, which is all this politicizing of the news. And this is... he's going to blame coronavirus fever or something on that when he gets well and they start going after him on it. But Governor Cuomo, Fredo's older brother, Governor Cuomo gave an interview. Okay, he gave an interview yesterday, and he was talking about states' rights. I want you to listen to this. This is Governor Cuomo yesterday talking about states' rights.
Winds up saying, I have total authority, which is not true. It's not legal. It's a total abrogation of the Constitution. The 10th Amendment specifically says powers to the states. Alexander Hamilton, all the founding fathers talked about the power of the states and how repugnant it would be for a federal head to say that they have eminent authority. The Constitution says we don't have a king. To say I have total authority over the country because I'm the president is absolute. That is a king. We didn't have a king. We didn't have King George Washington.
Shouldn't he be gender neutral as a Democrat these days? Isn't that too masculine? But anyway, listen to this. This is Governor Cuomo yesterday.
George Washington. We have President George Washington. And why he would want to say that after initially, when he did the quote-unquote close down of the government, he never did the close down. He wants to say the travel ban with China was closed down. It wasn't. It was a travel ban with China.
Okay, so there's Governor Cuomo, president of the new Confederate States of America. Second time. I mean, he's organized 7 states against the federal government. He's got his own Confederate States of America going on there. He's talking about states' rights. Now, Democrats have done this before. The first time was 1861 when they formed the Democrats formed the Confederate States of America. And I want to play a clip. Now listen to this one, Steve. Steve's just joining us. Now that was, can you hear in there? I'm not sure if I got the speaker on. Okay. Steve and I are separated in sound booth studios, which we normally have open, but because of social distancing guidelines, we're in sound booths. So it's, it's like, what was that show where they used to be in the sound booths on the game shows? I forgot. But anyway, I can't hear what's in his room. We can only hear through headphones and speakers. And anyway. So there's Governor Cuomo talking about states' rights over federal authority. I'm going to play another clip from the former governor of Alabama. A lot of you millennials will have no idea who he is. Don't worry, you'll find out in a second. So Governor Cuomo talked about states' rights yesterday and their authority over the president and the federal authority. This is the former governor of Alabama making a very similar comment. His name is Governor George Wallace.
You're alive, Rick.
the debates in the Constitutional Convention of the state of Virginia, and you read the debates in the Constitutional Convention.
Now notice when you listen to George, now you millennials, I'll tell you who he is in a minute, because I know they don't teach about George Wallace anymore because he was a Democrat, don't you know? But when you hear George Wallace speak, doesn't it sound very much like what Governor Cuomo said last night in that interview?
You read the debates in the Constitutional Convention of the state of Virginia, and you read the debates in the Constitutional Convention of the state of New York and of New Hampshire and of the original 13 states.
Yeah, see?
You will find that not a single one of the states wanted to come into the Union until first they were guaranteed that we were going to have a government of limited powers. That all powers...
See, isn't that what Cuomo was saying yesterday? Isn't that what the media was saying yesterday?
...delegated to the government expressly would be lodged and kept with the people of Virginia and of New York and of New Jersey.
In fact, one of the reporters actually said that yesterday.
And in the debates in New Jersey and New York, they said, we've got particular and peculiar problems in New York, and we want the right to determine those ourselves. And so they wouldn't even come into the Union until first they agreed to put the first 10 amendments in the Constitution. And so those in the Constitutional Convention...
You got to listen. That's what I'm telling you to listen.
Exactly
I did.
like we in Alabama sound, and sound exactly like many of you who are here today sound, and are completely foreign in their attitude to those today.
Okay, so that's the former governor of Alabama, George Wallace, saying with a southern accent pretty much the same thing that Governor Cuomo of New York said yesterday. He even cited New York. Now, I know a lot of people out there that are younger may not know who George Wallace is. There's a very famous quote from George Wallace, who Governor Cuomo was basically quoting yesterday almost. Here's the famous George Wallace quote.
Say segregation now, segregation tomorrow, and segregation forever.
Okay, yeah, then you hear all the Democrats cheer in the background. So what I'm telling you is yesterday, the liberal media and Governor Cuomo, who has formed a confederation of 7 Democrat states against the president's reopening of the country, that the Democrats have, this is the 3rd time the Democrats have done this, okay? The last time was during the era of segregation, where they were using the state's authority above and beyond the federal government to maintain segregation. That was Democrat George Wallace. Almost the same things that Governor Cuomo said yesterday. And of course, the first time was 1861 when the Democrats formed the first Confederate States of America. So what is going on here right now with Governor Cuomo, who has appointed himself the leader of this new Confederate states, 7 blue states, some on the East Coast, some on the West Coast, that they are not going to answer to the President of the United States and the federal government. This is what the Democrats did to maintain slavery and to try to maintain segregation, and they're doing it again. And I was talking about this yesterday, and then it came to a head yesterday, and I was very shocked. Following me on this is Drudge showing a Civil War photograph, or not a photo, but a Civil War drawing, is the headline of Drudge today. And people are going to you'll hear people start to talk today about what I was talking yesterday about Cuomo forming this new Confederate States of America. And what's going to happen is Trump's going to open up the country even sooner than he was before, and probably open it up even more than he was before yesterday. And the Democrats, New York's going to be excluded, which he's been saying all along, but there are going to be some Democrats who will not open up their states simply because they want to be a part of this new Confederate States led by President Cuomo, who's the secession leader here. And you're going to see a political dialogue take place that we haven't seen since segregation and the Civil War. You know, it's not going to end in the way that the Civil War ended, but it's going to be the dialogue from the Democrats echoes everything they've done in the past, and they are going to go all the way to total defeat in November over this, because when Republican states open up and Democrat states are closed down, when people want to get out and get back to work and get normal, they're going to have some very pissed off people in their communities. And I'll say that a lot of these states, their people are going to start opening up their businesses regardless of what their Democrat governor says. And they're going to have an internal rebellion inside their states, and they're going to open up just like the churches in some situations did over the weekend. All right. It's a couple minutes past 8. We'll take our break. Third and final hour begins right now.
5.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Well, we are privileged today to have in studio with us Dr. Gupta. He is with Brighton Dental Care, and with all the excitement that's been going on during this difficult period we've been through, Dr. Gupta has been there for his patients. You've remained open. You're considered an essential business, right? Tell us a little bit about what it takes to be an essential business.
Yeah, the essential business means like if the patients need us because they have pain or they have some dental emergency or they have any health problems, or maybe other essential businesses are like food and drugs and things like that. So we are one of the essential businesses where we take care of the patients in emergency which have like pain, and we don't want them to suffer over a period of time thinking that they cannot see a dentist, it might be closed. But just to tell your listeners that we are open here and we can take care of them. And we have all the precautions here so that they feel very safe to come to our office and have their treatment done.
Can you expand on that a little bit? What are some of the things you do to keep the environment safe in this difficult time?
First of all, I would like your listeners to know that we wish them and their family and friends to stay healthy and safe from this coronavirus. And as far as the things we are doing at our practice, we are doing more than what the CDC guidelines are. So we are putting, number one, we are putting the patients spaced out in the appointment book so that the patients don't even interact with each other. Only one patient will be seen at a time in our clinic. And number two, some of the times the patient comes early. As you know, we have a very big waiting area, so we can keep them separate at least minimum of 6 to 8 feet apart. And sometimes we even tell our patients, hey, if it is possible, you can stay outside in your car and we will let you know when we are ready for you, so that the patients don't interact with each other of a different family member. We ask patients to wash their hands before they even sit on the chair so that they are clean and we are clean and our chairs are clean. And then also, of course, we, as the doctor and the assistant, we wear two kind of masks. We wear the N95 first, and on top of that one, we put the surgical mask to protect them, and also the shield so that there is no kind of any cross-contamination between us and the patient. And we use the disposable as far as possible. And of course, there are certain instruments they are not disposable, so we sterilize them.
Right.
And also all the area around the chairs and the chairs itself, they're all disinfected before we do any of the dental procedures.
Well, you certainly are prepared over there, and you've been my dentist for quite a while now, and I can only tell those of you that are not familiar with you, Dr. Gupta is the best. He is caring. He is always there when you need him. He's always right on top of things, and he's somebody that you really can trust without any question. You put your patients first. You will be open. All they have to do is call to make that appointment at 954 area code 922-4633.
Let me say the final word.
Sure, please do.
Thank you for having me at your radio show today, and wish you, your family, your friends, and especially your listeners a safety from coronavirus, and God bless America.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855
Computer Recycling Center.
3782.
All right, we're coming back.
You are listening to South Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll-free, dial 1-888.
Exciting times are here.
Oh, yeah.
Is Cuomo giving his...
Every day. You think he's going to... It's every day until forever. Of course, his press conference. Please. That's his whole highlight of his day now.
Well,
Oh, they are. That's why the press are so upset.
That lady that went after the president, is she a new face? Have we ever seen her?
I've never noticed her before. So I don't know how long she's been there.
Sure made a debut yesterday.
Yeah, no, half the country hate her now. She was very nasty. That was a great press conference, though. That's very gender specific. I'm sure she'd be very offended by that. I don't think she had guts at all. I think she's just a disrespectful liberal hack.
It takes a certain amount.
I mean, she was triggered by that Trump video yesterday. That wasn't balls. She was out of control. She was hysterical. Yeah, she was hysterical. Yeah, she lost her cool. Well, she didn't know that the president was going to show that video. None of them knew that. He sprung that on them. That's why they were all so triggered.
We're all friends with Fauci again. I'm glad to see that that's settled. That was a battle that we can't afford to fight right now. So I think Trump did the right thing.
Oh, he didn't back off. Fauci came out and was being smeared by the fake news media. I couldn't believe after he made a statement that this is when Paula Reed is her name from CBS, the cat lady, the Costa wannabe. She says this.
Are you doing this voluntarily or did the president?
I'm doing it.
So she's saying, "Are you a hostage? Are you walking this back voluntarily?" And this is crazy.
Are you doing this voluntarily or did the president?
I'm doing it. Everything I do is voluntarily. Please, don't even imply that.
Yeah, I mean, this is, these people. Fauci has always been on Trump's team. It may not, he's fallen victim to these gotcha questions that he's not used to. See, he's a Democrat, so he's not used to these gotcha interviews. He thought the press were his friends, and they were using him.
Well, I guess he found out that there are no friends in this era.
Well, unless you're a Democrat, they're all friends. If you hate Trump, if you hate Trump, you're a friend. But since he's working with Trump, he's no longer a friend.
When do you predict things will
May 1st. I told you, May 1st, they're going to open. I've been telling you this for a while.
Okay, and what does that mean? Does that mean I'll be able to go to a movie on May 1st?
Well, I don't know about the movie theaters. I'm sure the movie theaters will open up with social distancing guidelines. But there's not much out worthy of... Well, the new Top Gun is still scheduled for its normal release.
How do you
Seat in between people. Seat between people. Or a couple seats. The seats are almost empty anyway in movie theaters these days. So the movie theaters have been social distancing for years now. There's so few people in them, right?
It's so huge that
too many seats for the demand.
way. I mean, I've been in theaters, it seems like there's 20, 30 people. And that's it. And they're sold
The Steve Kane
out.
Show.
Maybe they knew something coming in that we didn't know.
Yeah,
anyway,
we're live.
Your comments are welcome. We are here to...
Why? Why do you say that?
Job of social awareness and coming here to hold your hand every morning and let you know that things will get better.
What a jerk. I tell you, I wish the liberals had balls to go. There was a time when liberals had the guts to call and go on the air with their grievances, as opposed to doing it off the air like girls. I mean, this guy I just talked to. What a can you call it pansy? I call the guy pansy, is what I call the guy. He says to me, this, and of course it's not going on the air. He says to me, "Are you guys still live every day?" Like he doesn't know, right? And I said, "Yeah." I said, "No, not a live on the air." And I said, "Yeah." And he says, "Oh, interesting." And I said, "Well, why do you say that?" This was just now during the break. If you're watching on YouTube, you heard me do this. And he says, "Because I keep thinking I'm hearing the same old thing every day." Well, maybe you have a recording of the show. Maybe you're listening to the same recording. I mean, I know we're talking about coronavirus a lot, but that's the issue of the day. I mean, what am I supposed to talk about? You can't talk about anything that's not really related to that. Oh my goodness. Steve Kane Show.
If you were a liberal What would you
hold
say
on.
if you had to fake a liberal corner?
I don't really think there are that many left, not in Florida, that disapprove of Trump. I don't think there are as many as there used to be.
But it's just they used to speak out, and now what are they going to say? What positions can they take fighting Trump or disagreeing with Trump or trying to attack Trump?
Steve Kane Show.
He's doing an unbelievable job.
Steve Kane Show.
And the biggest job I think that Trump does
Steve Kane Show.
is that he lifts morale. I'll admit, quite frankly, that until I see, that was my problem with Easter. I didn't get my...
Well, you're a Jew. You do the Easter? Well, you're Christian too, I guess. Do Jews do Easter? Okay, what did Jews do on Easter? You can't go out for Chinese these days like at Christmas. What do you do? What did Jews do on Easter? Oh, Passover. Yeah. Well, what about Easter? What'd you miss?
No, I'm just saying...
One more, yeah. It was a rough Easter. No Easter egg hunts. No Easter baskets.
No turkey.
You do turkey on Easter? I guess in Jewish households it is. Ham is typically Easter. We had pizza this Easter. Oh, we have attorney Barry Siegel on the line. Yes.
My attorney, handling matters of my estate, and if you don't have your estate tended to, now would be a good time to give Barry a call. Barry, how are you today, and how are things at the Siegel Law Group?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Everything is well at the Siegel Law Group. We're still taking clients and holding consultations. Of course, we're holding them in a safe manner by telephone or by video conferencing. And really, it's just so important to get this taken care of. I mean, if you ever need
make sure you guys subscribe.
Reason or situation to take care of this, some motivation with what's going on right now. Even of course, most people are going to be fine. However, why not get it taken care of now while this is something high on your priority list? And the thing is, of course, you can get a set of documents online, but what are you really getting when you get that? Are you getting the bloodline planning to protect your children and beneficiaries from losing the inheritance in a divorce or a lawsuit? Are you getting an updating system to make sure that your estate plan is going to be up to date when you need it? Are you getting guidance on funding to make sure your assets are in a trust so they'll avoid probate? And are you getting elder law advice to make sure you don't lose your assets if you or your spouse have?
Yeah, me too, Lisa.
And you have language in the documents that can make a difference in that sense, where you can potentially get on Medicaid because of your documents and potentially not get on Medicaid because of what's not in your documents. So for all those reasons and many more, I suggest now is a great time. You can certainly call our office to schedule a free consultation, and also you can call our office and we will send you a link to our video on demand of our workshop, the one that that we hold every month. You'll be able to see it from the comfort of your home, and then you'll have the opportunity to schedule your free consultation.
Well, it's forewarned is forearmed, a good time to follow up, and a lot of you have been out there listening to me talk to attorney Barry Siegel and saying, yeah, this is something I got to do, and you never do it now. A great time. Most of this stuff can be done by phone, too. Is that not true?
Yes, that's correct.
Exactly right. So give Barry a call. His office number, toll-free, 1-855-FLA is in Florida.
Good morning, Patricia.
3782. One more time. 1-855-FLA 3782. Barry, have a great day, and we will speak to you soon, all right?
All right, Steve. Take care.
You take care.
Yeah, we're back. All right, you're on the radio.
Yeah, I wanted to make a quick comment, an observation of Trump yesterday.
Yes.
You think he's standing there debating these guys for 2 hours, that it's just 15 newspaper or newsmen there? It's actually them on their smartphone. They sit there, they fact check him as he's talking, and they're getting texts from the editors pushing these really ridiculous questions.
Yeah.
I just think that he sits there all alone, takes on not 15 guys, but 800, I'd imagine.
Well, you know, the thing with because a lot of people say, why bother going after these hacks, right? What he did yesterday wasn't for those scummy people in the press corps. It was for the American people. You know, they very highly rated these press conferences, and they're accusing Trump of being responsible for the death of Americans by not acting soon enough. He should correct that.
Do you watch the Trump
Press
conferences every evening?
Live.
Every other one, for sure.
Does it lift your spirits? I know that if I go to bed without seeing my, the Trump press conference, I usually wake up in the morning pretty depressed. Do you find it affects your mood?
You know, I have my complaints about the man. I know you guys will never criticize him, Brian.
I never will.
But I'm just saying.
Well, slow down. Why would you criticize him? What you say? What would you criticize President Trump on? So far as what's going on now?
No, I'm not criticizing him.
Yeah.
And watching parts of the business, and they want a politician like Barack Obama. They want a worse. Religion is their.
No. You say you would criticize him. You criticize his style. What is he doing right now during the coronavirus pandemic that you would specifically criticize?
His ability to communicate. That's why I went to the video, and the video was effective.
Well, then, so you're complimenting him. You say you would criticize his ability to communicate, but then you said he communicated well yesterday. I'm confused.
I'm saying, no, I like the guy. He is the best we're going to have for a very long time.
Steve Kane Show.
And his style of communication isn't as smooth as a Barack Obama or just President.
Yeah, okay. All right, listen, we got a bad connection, so we got to run. I apologize. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Good morning, Brian. Am I on?
Yes, you are. Go ahead.
Hello, Steve. Brian, this is Independent Blue in Deerfield. I want to tell you about my experience yesterday at Ace Hardware, which is right down the street.
Go right ahead.
Yeah. I've been going there for about 10 years. Not too much, maybe like a couple of times a year. And I've never, ever had a less than a perfect experience. I went there yesterday because Brian was saying that they have free bandanas.
Yes.
So I went there, and the guy was extremely polite, very nice. He said, sorry, you can't come in because you don't have a mask on. But he listed the colors they have, and I'll bring you one. I said, what color do you want? And he was the usual, primary colors, yellow, red, blue, and I think he said black and white. He said, just wait for a second, I'll bring it right back. He comes out, and I told him I want a blue one, by the way, because that's my favorite color. He comes out, and what color do you think he gave me? I'm holding it in my hand right now. He gave me a purple one.
Wow.
Or maybe he's colorblind.
It's one of the few stories I've ever heard where the business owner supplies the mask.
It was packed in there. A lot of they were giving out a lot of bandanas.
Well, that's
Those
great.
guys are amazing.
Yeah, they absolutely are amazing. Did you tell him that it was the wrong color? Maybe a lot of men are colorblind. Yeah. Okay. Well, did you put the bandana on and go about your day? That's great. That's good. See, now you're allowed to win Dixie. That's great. Well, I went to the bank last week inside the lobby, and everyone but me and one other guy was wearing masks, including the teller and the office staff. And there were two guys wearing bandanas, and it just, to me, is like, the old days of Butch and Sundance. You know what I mean? And a month ago, if you went into a bank and there were people with masks, you'd throw your arms up in the air. Now, everybody, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Well, I'm glad you got your free bandana from Ace Hardware in Deerfield. Yeah. Yeah.
What's going to happen with the election?
Okay, we'll do that. Okay, well, we got to let you go first, though. That's the way it is. But I will tell you, the bandanas that they are giving away for free at Ace Hardware in Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware at Lauderdale by the Sea, they do have multiple colors. If they give you a color you don't like, you can ask for another one. They'll give you a color you like. But the thing about these bandanas, there's a couple of things that are very important about these bandanas to point out. Okay, these are not the regular bandanas you would go and get like at the arts and crafts store that you could hold up and read a newspaper through. These are the bandanas that construction workers wear, that lawn crew guys wear all the time to protect themselves from breathing in all the things from their work. So they're thicker, and what makes them far and above most of the masks that you get is that they're washable, which means they're reusable. And you know your masks, you want to be able to wash your mask. You have to, because if you're out, you could be, you can wash your bandana every day if you want. Every day. Or anywhere else. You've got, I saw 3 people turned away from Walmart yesterday because they didn't have masks. And, of course, not only are these great bandanas, another great thing, again, this is only at Ace Hardware Deerfield. This is only at Ace Hardware and Lauderdale by the Sea, the Beach Ace Hardware. And you got to mention the Steve Kane Show. They're also free. You mention the Steve Kane Show, they will give you a bandana for free that you can wear as a mask all over the place. So that's a pretty good thing. I was surprised when this is an interesting thing. That guy said he showed up. They wouldn't let him in without a mask because you can't. Now it's the rules. You can't go in any public place in South Florida without a mask or some bandana on. And Ace Hardware Deerfield, they said, wait, we'll get you one. They came out and gave him one. At Walmart, I saw them turn away 3 customers yesterday. They didn't offer to give them a mask. They turned them away. And one guy, it was 2 ladies and a guy, and the guy got pissed off. This was at Walmart yesterday in Boca. He got pissed off. And I thought he was going to start to throw a racial incident, but there were 2 people. One was white, and then there was a black lady. So when the black lady started telling him, he calmed down a little bit. I think he was, you know what I mean. But he looked like he was going to start to play the race card. But they didn't. They should all be handing out things to customers if they come in, like Ace Hardware. I thought that's pretty nice. Old-fashioned customer service. Oh my goodness.
1-888 go Kane 1.
Yes.
To get your comments and predictions as to how this is going to play out in the short term.
But what are yours? What do you think is going to be going on?
I'm just taking.
You're just an observer.
One day at a time.
You're just an observer.
That's exactly right.
You got to do more than observe. You got to.
Hold my family together.
Oh.
The next day comes.
I got to tell you, my days are pretty much like they were every other day. I mean, I got the mask. I wear my mask, but I go to the same places I always went to. Dr. Matez called. All of our sponsors are open for business. Dr. Matez is open, not just for existing, but new patients. Everyone, life in South Florida is pretty much already back to normal. When they give the big order, okay, we're open for business, you're not going to notice too much of a difference because South Florida is open.
You and I do not have the typical average American's workday patterns. So for us,
No, I'm talking. I'm not. No. I'm talking about when I go through my day and the weekends and everything. Things are pretty much normal. I go to the same businesses. I go to the same places that I always go to, and everything is pretty much normal. You just got to wear a mask. And if you go, well, no, that's people are working. They're either working from home or businesses that are open during, with some different rules. That's all.
That's going to
Steve
be
Kane
one
Show.
of the big changes that I think will last through and above and beyond.
What?
This administration. Work home. Jenny, actually, before this happened, she was doing.
Yeah.
She has a job with one of the print lines, and it's It's really convenient. It's great for her, and she is, of course, a mother. So she's got 2 young kids she takes care of, and everybody else in the house looks after the kids.
Yeah. You know, but if you go, you know, most businesses fit into, not all, but most businesses fit into either retail or, you know, some type of food business. All, you know, like Wings Plus, restaurants are open for takeout. Most retail businesses are still open unless they're in a mall. They've got the malls shut down, but that's got to end. Come on, the mall. There's no reason for the malls to be shut down at this point. They're going to be open May 1st too, probably. You know, there's no reason for the malls to be shut down. All the retail stores are open.
Well, is there going to be a major argument about it, or is it?
Not in, well, in Florida, we've got a great Republican governor, Ron DeSantis. The local Democrat hacks that run our local counties will fight it. Mm-hmm. Well, Trump's going to give the word for, the boss, Donald Trump's going to give the word first, and then Ron DeSantis with other governors will follow. But the schools are going to stay closed. They're not going to send the kids back to school yet.
No, nor should they. It's a very simple question. I mean, I asked my daughter, I was kind of curious. I said, well, if they did open for a while before it was decided.
School year's almost over anyway.
Yeah. If schools were open, would you send the kids to school? The answer is no. Who would send the kids?
No, but Ron DeSantis doesn't plan on opening the schools. Ron DeSantis has been mentored by Donald Trump, and he was talking the other day about the possibility of opening schools. That he was pulling a Trump. He was doing what Trump does. Trump always asks for more than he wants and he plans on, so when he gives a concession, he's conceding something that he didn't even want to do anyway. And the Democrats, DeSantis with the schools! You know, he doesn't plan on opening the schools up yet, but he'll say, okay, we'll keep the schools closed, everything else.
I think schools are closed.
For the year?
Yeah.
Well, DeSantis never, but to neuter, so when he opens up the state, DeSantis, and the Democrats try to bring us towards a Great Depression, you know, because they want to keep everything shut down, they're going to go after him with the schools, and he'll say, okay, we'll keep the schools closed, which he never planned on opening anyway. You know what I mean? He just said that so he had something to concede to these Democrats.
All right, it's time for our break at the bottom. You're listening to the Steve Kane Show with our good buddy
Brian.
Brian. Yes, I almost forgot. With our good buddy Brian, we'll be back after this.
This is Brian Craig. I've been telling you about the great deals and incredible customer service at Friendly Tire on both new tires and used tires. One of our listeners, Antonio, went to Friendly Tire and called to share with us his experience of buying used tires at Friendly Tire in Margate.
Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hey, yes, Brian, I want to give you a quick testimony about the tire place up in Margate, Friendly Tire. Friendly Tire is everything you said it would be, man.
Richard Pearl.
I went some used tires, and when I whipped them, he was very courteous.
Richard Pearl. Richard Pearl's on the line.
Mike's breakdown, man.
Well, what's your name?
Antonio.
All right, Antonio. Hey, I'm glad we could save you and your family lots of money on tires at Friendly Tire.
Oh, no doubt, man. Thanks so much, man.
Do what Antonio did. Stop into Friendly Tire and find incredible deals on both new and used tires. Give Friendly Mike a call right now. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. And Mike will give you a quote right over the phone. 954-977-9445 for Friendly Tire in Margate.
The Steve Kane Show is brought to you by attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group. Are you concerned with the distribution of your assets at the time of your passing? Avoid probate. Call the Siegel Law Group with 9 offices throughout South Florida, from Palm Beach Gardens to Coral Gables. Call toll-free 1-855-FLA-3782.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
It is that very special time on the Steve Kane Show when we talk to our good friend Richard Pearl from Simply Natural. Richard, how are you today?
I'm great. I just woke up and I'm great. And the air conditioner was too low, so my voice sounds a little different. That's why. Also, yesterday I was low energy, and partly because it's demoralizing to know the truth and possible and probable solutions to benefit most people that are being ignored by foolish leaders medical biases, and ignorant media. And on my show on Saturdays, Pearls of Health, from 12 to 1 p.m., same stations, we go in great depth about that. But I want to talk about something that really is just an amazing statistic. And that is, in Florida, we have the third largest population in the U.S., bigger than New York. Yet we only have 499 dead, and yet in New York they have over 10,000 dead. And if you combine New York, Michigan, and New Jersey, they represent over 14,100 of the dead, which is 23,600 and so, which represents 59.6% of the dead. The rest of the population, the whole country, is less than those three states. And the policies that we have are in part because of what happened in New York, which is, the media is New York-centric, and also we have a person running our medical thought process named Dr. Fauci, who thinks he's so extreme, we should not ever handshake again in our lives. We should never, he's a germaphobe, and he's against handshakes. He thinks that we should never do it again. And if you were to take his titles away from him, and you just saw a man on the street say that, you would think he was mentally ill. And this is the guy running our policy system here, a guy who thinks that only way to solve any problem is a vaccine. And because of the medical biases in this country, people are not aware of the fact that so few people have died that have zero underlying causes of disease. And we know, for instance, because they use the stats in New York City, you can look it up, but they use stats from the New York Department of Public Health. You can see that only 26 people died who were young, had no known causes of underlying disease, and even of the older group, only 25 died under the same circumstances. So the people that are dying have underlying conditions, and here's the thing, they know they have underlying conditions because all these people take medicines. So maybe we should be looking also
Make sure you
at what
subscribe if you're not
medicines
subscribed,
might be contributing to some of the problems. The number one thing that people talk about is diabetes. Well, diabetes, most of the people who have it take metformin. Metformin, and again, I'm not casting aspersions, I'm just open eyes. But if you look at metformin, it shrinks blood vessels, it cuts B12 levels. Well, by cutting B12, you raise homocysteine, which is an inflammatory protein in the arteries. That can lead to heart attack. So if you're already under siege, your lungs aren't working right, puts more pressure on your heart. If you have more inflammation in your arteries, that could spell trouble. I'm just using that as one of many examples of drugs that people are taking that might be setting them up for problems. Again, we know these people have underlying causes, and we know it because they're on medicines. Otherwise, they wouldn't know that. So the fact is that maybe we should be looking at policies of using natural products to boost our immunities and then boost our health, maybe cut out all the junk food or much of it, maybe also take supplements that improve heart function or artery function or liver function or asthmatic function, breathing function, or, if their immune systems are suppressed, maybe build them up. I know I am short on time here, but I just will bring some thoughts in the process. There are logical things that all of us could do to offset. You don't have to wait till, you're over the top or you have a tragedy to start looking at your health. Like the Fram oil filter commercial, you can pay me now or pay me later.
That's for sure. A good place to find the answers to the questions you have is up at Simply Natural with Richard Pearl. The address, 8271 Sunset Strip in Sunrise. That's just north of north of the strip on the east side. On the east side of University Drive. And if you want to call on the phone, 954-741-4045. Richard, a pleasure to you. Take care, my friend.
All right, you're on the air. Go ahead. Hello.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Someone in the chat room, I don't know who you are, I don't know, because I don't know, but they said that there's a troll on hold. So I don't know if they mean that's you, somebody else, I don't know. We'll find out.
Or another troll.
Yeah, could be. We could have multiple trolls. And we said yes the first time. I guess they were right. There is a troll on the line. Yeah. Yeah. No.
Saying that he the president should have full authority.
Well, finish the sentence. That's part of what he said. I'm sure you want to be accurate. I'm sure you don't want to misquote the president, right?
Well, what is your comment? Obviously,
That's not all that he said.
What are your feelings about it?
I feel that somebody having the highest ranking office in the most powerful country in the world, I think that it's a little concerning.
Okay. What the president said, and this is what you could comment on, because if we're going to talk about what Trump said, we should talk about what he actually said, not the media representation of what he said. He said that he has total control so far as this issue that we are discussing, which is whether or not to reopen the country or not. That's what he said. Whose decision is it? Whose decision should it be?
Communicated amongst the governor.
Oh, well, that's good because he's doing that. He's doing that with his task. But who should call the shot at the end? Can you turn you got me on in the background. That's okay. And you're trying to hear yourself on the call. That's okay. But who should be the final decider? Who should be the final decider? Who should finally decide? Should it be Cuomo? That the economy should be open. Who should make that decision?
There should be a communication.
A communication.
An open communication amongst him.
Well, he has that. He's got this team, which includes governors. He had a meeting yesterday with 48 governors. I don't know where the other two were. He met with 48 governors yesterday. That's communicating with the governors. So Trump's doing what you think he should do then. So you agree with Trump. What do you disagree with him about? You say something.
Like to open up the government in a very fast fashion as far as...
No, you say you disagree. You agree with him somewhat. What do you disagree with him about?
Well, what about the Anthony hashtag Fire Fauci?
He didn't write that. He didn't write that. He didn't write that.
Okay, but he was promoting it.
No, he retweeted an article that someone had tweeted, and that was one of the hashtags in it. This is interesting. So you believe, like if I retweet something, I'm responsible for everything in that tweet? Like if I retweet someone, I'm endorsing everything that's in that tweet? Like I retweeted Jim Acosta yesterday, right? Does that mean that I am endorsing and agree with Jim Acosta because I retweeted a tweet of his? You gonna pretend not to hear now because the call's not going the way you wanted it to go?
I guess then you would be, if you retweeted him, then you would probably be saying that you agree with him.
No. What is do you use the Twitter? Are you familiar with how Twitter works? Oh, okay. Then maybe before you render an opinion on it, you should know something about it. Oh, okay. Yes, of course. Don't you? Okay. Nice change of subject. Oh my gosh. I tell you, how pathetic. Indeed a troll, but not a highly skilled one. A lot of people on Twitter, I don't do this, but a lot of people on Twitter have in their Twitter profile, retweets do not equal endorsement. This was a big thing a few years ago, a couple years back. I can't remember what the particular issue was, but someone had retweeted someone. And what they want you to do, if you retweet someone, they have this guilt by association, the left. If you retweet someone, they want you to be accountable for everything that person not only says in the tweet, but everything they've ever said or done through their entire life. And There and if you go through many people's Twitter profiles, you will see retweets do not equal endorsements. And what I do when I use Twitter, I use Twitter kind of like, you hear Rush talk about his stack of stuff. I do my show prep online, and I read articles from everything, conservative sources, liberal sources, and things like this, and I retweet them, and then I go through my Twitter feed on the show. And sometimes I'll retweet something from a liberal source, probably more from conservatives, but oftentimes there's a liberal online news outlet that I retweet things from all the time, Mediaite. So when someone retweets someone, it is not an endorsement of that person or everything they've ever stood for. And this thing with the fire Fauci, Trump didn't write on Twitter, #fire Fauci. He retweeted something that someone tweeted. So they have this guilt by association. If you heard with the caller there, the really pathetic liberal, on the line. I feel sorry for that guy. Because liberals think that they're the intelligentsia, and whenever you talk to them, they really don't know what the hell's going on. They have a couple of soundbite ideas that the mainstream media have put out there, and they think they know something, and you know what? They don't know too much of anything, but this guilt by association. So if I retweet Barack Obama, does that mean I agree and endorse Barack Obama? Of course not. But I retweet mostly conservatives, but liberal people all the time. It means nothing. What they want you to do before you retweet someone is they want you to do a detailed background check so that you know everything that person has ever said or done in their life. And if they've ever done or said something that might be offensive to some liberal, all of a sudden, like for example, if you retweeted someone and it comes out that they, 20 years ago said something racist, you by association through that retweet are racist because 20 years ago this person you retweeted on Twitter said something. That's how they do it, and that's what they're trying to do with Trump. All right, listen, we'll take our last break of the day. When we get back, it'll be time for the Gold Report. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. I want to tell everyone real quick, though, there is an incredible offer. There's two things on MyPillow you want to take advantage of, okay? There's two things going on there right now. Mother's Day is right around the corner. The MyPillow BOGO offer, buy one MyPillow, get one free with free shipping, is still available when you use the promo code Kane. And they have these great go anywhere pillows. You'll see it when you go to mypillow.com. The American flag MyPillow, and that's buy one get one free with free shipping. They come with many different patterns, but one of them is the MyPillow with the American flag on it. It's buy one get one free plus free shipping when you use the promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout. All right, we'll be right back.
95.3 FM, 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Frank, the owner of Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware, wants you and your family to be protected during the coronavirus pandemic and has an incredible offer for listeners of the Steve Kane Show.
We get products continually coming in during the week. We get disinfectants, bleach, gloves, cleaning supplies. Everybody's looking for.
Steve, you got to shut your door. Steve, hey there. Steve, you got to shut your door. You got to shut your door.
I'd love every one of your customers that come in a free bandana just for mentioning the Steve Kane Show. The bandanas are face covering, and the cities are going to require, as we start to go back to work and get out, that everybody's required to have their face covered. So you can use this bandana to cover your mouth and your
Youngerman's on the line.
Protect you and protect all
Youngerman.
The other thing is, while you're at home, why don't you get that honeydew list done? It's that painting project or sprinkler supply, or maybe treat yourself to a new growth.
Wow, what a great deal. These bandanas are reusable because you can wash them. So stop into Ace Hardware in Deerfield, just south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of US 1, and Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea, and get your free bandana from Ace Hardware.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Listen to the Steve King Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
And now the moment for which we all wait, the Gold Report, brought to you by one of the leading experts in the world today when it comes to precious metals. And of course, I'm talking about none other than William Youngerman of William Youngerman Inc. William, for over 50 years, advising clients on trends and movements in the gold and precious metals market. William, how's it looking today?
Looking good, Steve. Very good. In fact, metals continue to be very strong. Yesterday we saw gold rise $27.30, closing at $1,712.90 the ounce. Silver, after trading higher, closed a little lower at $15.35. That was down 5 cents. Platinum was down $2 at $7.49, while palladium was up $56, closing out the day at $2,113. All of them are up today nicely. Still, gold up another $14 at $1,726.90 the ounce right now. It's been even $10 or $15 higher than that so far this morning. Silver up 25 cents at $15.60 the ounce. Platinum got up over $800 at one point this morning, but was up over $50. But right now it's up $28 at $777. And palladium's up $68 at $21.81. So all of the metals doing very well right now, and in an environment that should cause them to even make it go higher.
Well, we were talking yesterday about the inflation factor, which seems to loom over everything today, and how that is a really important issue when you're talking about your precious metals.
Absolutely. When you consider the contraction that's going to take place in this economy as a result of what's been going on in the world, which could easily push us into a recession or depression, that will cause the funds, the more money that they've printed to chase fewer available goods and services, and that's just going to put a lot of pressure on the markets to go much higher. Inflation could really be a monster on the scene going forward in the years ahead. So we'll see how that all plays out, but in the meantime, the safest place to be is in the precious metals.
That is for sure. And of course, William not only sells the precious metals, he is a purchaser. If you have any items in your home, old antique jewelry, things like that, silver, sterling silverware sets, anything made of precious metals, William has made a market in this as well. Tell him about it, William.
Certainly, yeah. For over 50 years, we've been making a market in all precious metals, regardless of the form. And you can bring them in for a free appraisal. Just tell us you're a Steve Kane listener. It won't cost you a thing to get a free appraisal and a cash offer. And if you decide to sell it, walk out with the cash. Whether it's old collectibles or precious metals or jewelry or anything, we're there to accommodate.
And you always get the greatest service and top price when you tell them Steve Kane sent you. William's located at 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca. That's the Bank of America building on the first floor, directly across from the bank. You can call them by phone from anywhere in the world, 1-800-327-5010, or go to the website at williamyoungerman.com. William, a real pleasure, and we will speak tomorrow, all right?
Okay, we'll be open until 3 o'clock today.
You take care. All right, we are back.
See, things back to normal. Back to normal. Steve Kane Show.
I am not quite yet back to
Steve Kane Show.
I'm not feeling very well, to be very honest with you.
Hey, Ray. You sound fine. You sound fine to me. No, okay, well, the show's almost over. I got a couple. Let's talk to Ray. Ray, you're on the air.
Ray, how goes it?
Hey, Steve. Hi, Brian. Now, all morning you're talking about this states' rights issue. One thing wasn't mentioned yet. That governor of Michigan, she threw a hat in the ring, trying to get the vice president, Biden is going to have a woman and so on. Gretchen Whitmore, something like that. I forgot her name. Anyway, she's echoing Cuomo. She's saying, "Oh, we don't have enough supplies. The hospitals are going to be overwhelmed. All this other kind of garbage and so on." You know what she's done? She has an executive order that bans all gatherings. Somebody pointed out, even let's say you have two homes, Michigan, people go out to the woods and so on, and they can't go to their second home and so on. She has put everything under an executive order.
Well, I'll tell you what's going on here, Ray, is you really get to see, a lot of conservatives, people think conservatives get crazy with like Second Amendment defending and First Amendment, look at how the Democrats they're showing their true colors, right? During this crisis, without any legislation, without any discussion, they just pass these executive order edicts and expect people to, like, look at this thing about taking the photographs of license plates in the church parking lots on Easter, for example. That's, yeah.
Hey, by the way, your friend, remember you asked about Napolitano? He was on last night.
I saw that Napolitano was back. Yeah, so yeah, he's back, and it looks like the hair dye's running a little light on his head. Well, the attorney general. Yeah, you're right, and the attorney general is going to start. He said this week, look into these issues of the harassment against the churches. And I wonder if that includes Tampa, where the pastor was arrested by the county sheriff up in Tampa for having a church service. I mean, I've never...
When he went through all that, putting all the facts out there, the fact checked on the press and so on. They make all this nonsense that he didn't act fast enough. January 31st, he puts the ban on China. At that point, not one death in the United States, a handful of cases and so on. Then the other one, I don't want to mention her name, that you keep mentioning, the CBS woman.
Yeah.
Her,
Paula Reed. Paula Reed is her name.
What did you do? What did you do in February? What did you?
Yeah.
Now, how about the travel ban that extended to Italy, then to the UK, then to all of Europe and so on?
Well, the video that President Trump showed was very good, but I would rather have seen clips of Democrats in the media attacking the travel ban, and a clip of Nancy Pelosi in Chinatown telling everyone to party. Yeah. Well, yesterday in the press conference, the one thing President Trump said that I had not heard anyone speculate on, and I'm talking about I don't expect the press to. He said yesterday, President Trump, that a friend of his was very ill with coronavirus, took the malaria drug cocktail, and they're doing very well now. And I'm wondering if that's Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom.
St. Thomas is the hospital where they are using the HCQ, the hydrochloroquine.
Yeah.
Drugs and so on, all right? And Trump mentioned that again yesterday. I think, yes, absolutely, you're right on that. Right after Trump was finished, Pence came on. But that states' rights issue, what they don't realize, we're under a national emergency declaration. And all 50 states and the territories have all...
That's right. That's right. What Cuomo is doing... What Cuomo is doing is dangerous, what Cuomo is doing. Because, when there's a national crisis going on, you need a united leadership. And for him to form this second task force with 7 Democrat states is it's not just political and counterproductive. It's unsafe. It's unsafe what he's doing, because he's calling people. What that can do is cause people to question the authority that's coming down from people even like Fauci, who they say they respect. It's very dangerous what he's doing. So. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pre-existing conditions.
That's right. Yeah.
Overwhelming majority were people like the elderly or people.
Well, see, that tells you, see, this is it. Well, yesterday, let's see, that's an interesting thing you bring up. And I've seen those numbers, and it's that way nationwide. And there's similar examples. And yesterday, the Attorney General said they're using real data, not models at this point. And part of these guidelines, when Trump reopens the economy, I think will use what you're talking about when they go through the number of those who sadly passed away and the pre-existing conditions. So if you fall into those categories, they want you to continue to do what's going on right now wherever you're located and not get out there fully in the public. You know, we got to get the economy going again. This is ridiculous. Yeah. 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 Yeah, that's right. No, you're absolutely correct. Yeah. You can social distance with your golfing partners. You can be 6 feet apart with a golfing partner. If you can be 6 feet apart at Walmart, you can do it on the course. Well, you better be careful. The neighbors might call the cops on you, you know, if you have the... Some of these. Yeah, I know. You got to be 6 feet. All right, Ray. Appreciate the call. Thanks so much. We're about to wind down today. But listen, we'll be back bright and early tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. We will be here every day live during this crisis, I promise you. As much as I'd like to take a day off. Steve's not feeling well today. He's here. We will be here live with you every day through this crisis. When the crisis is over, I am going to take a day off. I will take a day off when the crisis is over because I need it. But we'll be here live tomorrow at 6 a.m. My name's Brian. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. And again, we'll see you tomorrow at 7 a.m. Take care, everyone. All right, guys. Make sure you subscribe if you're not subscribed, all right? Take care.